Welcome back to another edition of Miami Baseball here on Red Hawk Radio. My name's Jeff Middleton alongside Sean Wiesemann for Game 2 of this Mid-American Conference Series. Yesterday saw the Red Hawks come away with a big 12-10 victory off the back of a David Novak home run in the 8th. And now we get set for the middle match of this 3-game series. Not a lot of changes for manager Brian Smiley for these Red Hawks. On defense, it is 0 changes, in fact. Starting in left is Rylan Zaborowski. In center, Zach McDonald. In right, Ryan Novak. And then in the infield, third base plays Tyler Gordon. Shortstop, Dylan Baker. Blake Buzzio back at second base. And Evan Applewick manning first base. On the mat and behind the plate is David Novak, the home run hitter from yesterday. And on the mound is Nick Vardavas. Sean, you want to tell people about Nick Vardavas?
Yeah, Vardavas has been an outstanding player this year. I mean, a guy who's second on the team in ERA this season with a 4.53 ERA, and his record is only a 1-4. But for a guy who's been able to be pretty consistent and give them a lot of innings, having pitched almost 50 this season, he's certainly a guy you definitely want on the mound for a deciding series win here.
For the Eastern Michigan Eagles, only one change to their lineup. Batting order has shifted around just a little bit. Blake McKie is out today. Kyle Schrodel is in. McKie was 3 for 5 yesterday, had 2 RBIs, so contributed to the Eagles' offense, but he has moved out of right field. We'll go through that batting order. Batting first in leadoff is Cooper Vamps. Once again, one of the best hitters on this Eagles team. Need to watch out for him consistently. Then Nathan Ball, 4 for 5 yesterday, along with a big home run to get the Eagles' offense started. Then we have Logan Hugo, another man who hit a home run yesterday. Giannu Zuccaro went 2 for 5. Lucas Johnson, the catcher, behind the dish, 0 for 3 yesterday. Aiden Arbogast, 1 for 4, had a big home run, a no-doubter home run as well. Kyle Schrodel did not play, but is in at the 7 hole for Blake McKie. And then at number 8 and 9, Drew Jones and Glenn Miller fill out the bottom of the order just as they did yesterday. A combined 4 for 7 between those two as they went to the dish for the visiting Eagles. Miami wearing their home whites. Miami script across the front, red caps, white pants, red cleats, as usual, red socks. Eastern Michigan today in their black jerseys, green numbers, white stitching on the outside of the numbers, white pants. There's a swing and a miss on strike one. Time of the first pitch is 1:02 on this cloudy but warm day in Oxford.
Certainly a beautiful day, like you said. Yeah, this is about as good of baseball weather as you could ask for here.
That one shot through the gap, so the Eagles get first hit of the day early. Leadoff hitter Cooper Vance gets on base with a single to left field. Rylan Zaborowski fielded that one easily and just throws it back in, but a good start for the Eagles. Saw that yesterday against Lucas Galdoni. Had some good swing and miss stuff, but gave up a hit or two every inning until the Eagles' offense really found a way to crack through.
I mean, this is a very solid Eastern Michigan offense. This is a team that, while they've struggled a little bit more pitching from last year, that despite losing their number 1 hitter in Josh Gross, who's now actually playing at Cincinnati for head coach Jordan Bichelle, but regardless, they've been able to fill in very well, and their slash lines have remained pretty much the same. A team hitting about 300. And that's despite playing a pretty tough non-conference schedule. So definitely a very potent offense here for Nick Vardavas.
Yeah, it's interesting. I was looking through the games that they have played, and I was blissfully unaware about the fact that they had played teams like Vanderbilt. Even in just a non-conference game, it's still, they hung in there as well. Only let Vanderbilt score 6 runs on them. So
yeah, their record does not reflect how competitive they've been. This is a first-year head coach, and so he's had to contend with a lot of change. Robbie Britt, he's had to contend with a lot of changes in the lineup and the pitching staff, but he's done a good job. And yes, obviously their record doesn't the best, but they've really turned it around in MAC play. They're only 8-11, still very much a solid team in MAC play.
4-pitch walk issued to Nathan Ball, so immediately a runner's in scoring position for Nick Vardavas. Not the start that you want. As yesterday, the pitching was a little bit of a concern at times. The hitting, the Miami hitters yesterday, they did not have a hit for 3 straight innings. They were pretty much done once Bobby Jones came in relief for Liam Baker, the Eastern Michigan freshman. That one's in there for ball one.
Yeah, that's
on the 3-hitter Logan Hugo.
Yeah, like you were just saying, Vardavis really struggling with his command early. He's not somebody who walks like a ton of guys. I mean, he's only walking about half a guy an inning, so no, definitely not. Command is typically not his weakness here, but as he locates that one for a strike, but that's typically not one of his weaknesses.
Yeah, 23 walks on the year for Vardavis. That sits right about in the middle of the pack for this Miami pitching staff. Most walks on the team is from Carson Byers, who has 32, so that shows you the gap between him and the leader.
Yeah, and I think that's why Vardavis has had so much success, is that he hasn't been walking a ton of guys, you know? Like, he's not giving a ton of free passes, and as a result, he's been a very solid player for the RedHawks here.
So that one's fouled off the ground and over to the right side. Count moves even 2-2 on Logan Hugo. Hugo batting .279 on the year. Started and played in 36 games of the 40 that this Eastern Michigan team has played. Miami over 500.
That was a sight to be seen, especially with how rough that non-conference got for them for a little bit.
So that one's grounded to third base. Gordon makes the tag on the bag, and he throws it over to Applewick for the double play. So a great play by Tyler Gordon over at third to be aware of where the man was. Tagged third base, threw it over to Evan Applewick for the second out.
A great play by Applewick. Looked like he might have almost had to pull his foot off the base and had to contend with the fact that the runner was barreling towards him as he was kind of drifting into foul territory to grab that ball, but was able to make a play, and a really great double play ball from Nick Vardavis there.
That one's dealt low and away for ball one. Yeah, I mean, now the situation changes. Obviously still a runner in scoring position with the man at second, but you'll take that any day.
Yeah, and Robbie Britt was chirping in the ear a little bit of first base umpire John Molesky, because he wasn't a fan of the fact that maybe there wasn't an interference call or something. But if the ball is going to take you there, there's just no interference, unfortunately, for the Eastern Michigan Eagles.
Yeah, we saw yesterday, I know you weren't here, Sean, but yesterday there were a lot of people on the Eastern Michigan side of the dugout, or of the ball field, I should say, not happy with Timothy Catton's strike zone yesterday. He was getting an earful from the guys over in that dugout, and there were times where even we in the press box and some of the Miami fans were not a fan as well, but
well, that's
how it goes being an umpire, I guess.
Yeah, you can't please everybody when you're an umpire sometimes.
Always forget how hard their job is.
Yes, it is.
Lots of criticism for them, rightfully so.
For sure.
As that's strike three swinging. So after putting two men on, Nick Vardavis works out of a jam. Fantastic play on the last pitch to get the swing and miss. And the Miami Bats will come up to the plate for the first time in this game. You're listening to Miami Baseball on Red Hawk Radio. Welcome back to Oxford for some Miami baseball. The Miami Bats coming up after Nick Vardavis worked himself out of a jam. We'll go through the Miami batting order. Up first, leading off is Dylan Baker, the shortstop. Then it's Zach McDonald, the all-around powerhouse hitter. And then in center field, he's batting second today. And then it's Ty Badicic hitting third, and Rylan Zaborowski cleaning up the big powerhouse again. Another big powerhouse in the batter's box for these RedHawks. Evan Applewick, Ryan Novak, and David Novak fill out the 5, 6, and 7 spots. And Blake Buzzio and Tyler Gordon round out the lineup at 8 and 9. As for this Eagles defense, in left field, it's Gianna Zuccaro. Then in center, it's Logan Hugo. Kyle Schrodel in right field taking over for McCray once again. At third, it's Glenn Miller. Cooper Vance at shortstop. Drew Jones and Aiden Arbogast on the right side of the infield. Lucas Johnson behind the dish. And Nico Cruiser on the mound. So, Sean, you want to tell us a little bit about Nico?
Absolutely. Cruiser's definitely not going to have the filthiest stuff. He's only got 8 strikeouts on the season in 23 innings and ERA of just precisely 9.0. He's more of a pitch-to-contact guy. He's given up his 31 hits in 23 innings, and so as a result, you're going to see a lot of contact, I think, today.
Yesterday, Liam Baker showed some decent signs, but was not as good as I'm sure the Eastern Michigan needed, as well as what he wanted to be. I believe it was only 2 1/3 innings that he pitched. And indeed, he 2 1/3 innings allowed only 2 hits, but 5 total runs, and only 2 of them earned, and walked 4 guys. So control, that was the big name of the game yesterday, especially for Eastern Michigan, was the amount of walks. There were a lot of hit by pitches as well. That was one of the main narratives coming out. There were 2 or 3 guys alone that just got plunked on the helmet.
Yeah.
So just sliders and off-speed pitches that got away. As Baker has a 2-1 count here. He swings and misses at that one, 2-2.
I'll tell you, Cruiser throws a very mean fastball. I mean, he is sitting roughly 88 to 90 here on that fastball. Definitely one of the livelier arms you'll see in the Mid-American here.
Cruiser deals that one outside, but Liam Baker yesterday, true freshman, and today, Nico Cruiser, a true freshman. So young guys starting on the mound for this Eastern Michigan squad. He's 6'4" from Westerville, Ohio. Saw Bobby Jones yesterday, another tall man on the mound, 6'5" senior from Loveland, Ohio. As Dylan Baker works a walk.
Yeah, that's a really good at-bat for Baker, especially a guy who isn't necessarily the guy who gets on base a ton. A few other guys who get on base more for the RedHawks, but regardless, you like to see that from him, especially against Cruiser, who got ahead of him 2-2.
So Zach McDonald. And Sean, we could talk all day about how good Zach McDonald has been.
Yes, we could.
Hitting .365 on the year.
I mean, you
757 slugging, Sean.
Yeah, you look at his stats, and you see him compared to the rest of the Miami lineup. And I was telling you earlier, this is Miami lineup top to bottom. That is about as good as any lineup in the MAC, and as good as any lineup they've had in recent years. But boy, does he really sets them apart from other lineups. Just his ability to get on base, getting on base at almost a 500 clip, and yeah, definitely somebody that pitchers try to keep an eye out for.
He's down 0-2 here. Sees that one go outside, 1-2. But yeah, I mean, yesterday he got his on-base percentage up to 500, and really good is 400, right?
Right.
500 is just utterly insane.
Unbelievable. Yeah, and
for anyone, it doesn't matter which team you play for, who you're playing against. Doing that as McDonald shoots that one into center field. But that'll be a routine flyout. Logan Hugo settled under it. So a quick pop out there for McDonald after working back close into the count, but after falling down 0-2, it's hard to recover from that as Ty Badicic steps in to the box for these RedHawks.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, Cruiser, this is, like I said, this lineup, there aren't any breaks in this lineup like there might be for other teams. No player is hitting. There's only one player hitting worse than 256, and that's Blake Buzzio, who's hitting 234.
Buzzio's not an everyday starter.
And that's what I was going to say,
yeah.
is Buzzio's not somebody who's getting everyday reps either, and he's improved recently, too.
Yep.
He was hitting 200 as recently as 3 weeks ago, so he's definitely been improving as well. So just gives you a sense of the kind of pressure that these this lineup puts on pitchers is they really have to work top to bottom, 1 through 9. There's no real breaks either.
Buzzio been improving at the plate, but yesterday the highlight of the day for him was an individual double play. Had a ball hit 112 miles per hour right at him, made the catch, and then dove back to second base to tag the base to get the runner out. And a huge double play, was able to really change the tides of that game. And then after that, we know what happened next with David Novak as Badicic fouls that one away. 2-2 is the count with one out here in the bottom of the first inning. We had Badicic 2 for 5 yesterday.
Yeah, what a find in the transfer portal he's been for head coach Brian Smiley in his first year, as he was a Western Kentucky transfer who's hit the DH spot pretty much every day, and boy, has he produced from that DH spot. He's been arguably, you could argue he's their second best hitter, depending on how you feel Rylan Zaborowski, but Badicic, really important part of this lineup, and happy to find a guy in the portal who can hit 3 spot for you.
Yep. Had a hit, scored a run, and 2 RBIs yesterday as he looks at Cruiser and deals the full count, 3-2. He shoots that one into the gap in right center field. That will bounce to the wall. Baker's going to round third, and he will come home to score as Badicic gets a double and the first run of the day for the RedHawks.
Yeah, what a barrel he put on that one. That was shot right into the right center field gap. That's about as perfect of a spot for a hit as you could ask, and a stand-up double for Ty Badicic. And boy, I'll tell you, Dylan Baker did not look like he really needed to.
No,
he was able to jog around the bases and able to get home with time to spare. That was hit right to the wall there. Really good piece of hitting there from Ty Badicic, and that sets up nicely as Rylan Zaborowski at the plate.
Zaborowski fouls away the first offering, but that's just a big, Badicic, he's the closest to Zach McDonald in RBIs this year, so he has been a truly effective hitter when it comes to bringing in runs.
Absolutely. Zaborowski was able to score 2 runs yesterday despite going hitless, so he's still somebody who can make an impact, even if he's not necessarily getting hits here.
He's just a consistent threat, you know.
Absolutely. As this pitching has been, there's so many new guys, especially on the pitching staff, that there can be some inconsistencies there. But because of this such a stout lineup you have, you're really able to lean on them a little bit more than maybe you'd like to. But they really do answer the bell time and time again. You give up 10 runs, but RedHawks score 12. That's how you pull it out.
Yep. 1-2 count here on Zaborowski. Here's the pitch. That one's dealt outside. Badicic hopping to and from second base. We saw yesterday these RedHawks got out to an early start and then kind of went quiet. They scored 4 runs in the first inning and then we ended up going up 5-0 before the Eagles worked themselves back as Zaborowski shoots that one. That'll get down for a base hit. Badicic is being signaled to round third. Ball is thrown to second, so again, another run scored for these RedHawks as Rylan Zaborowski gets an RBI single to left field. Badicic comes home to score from second base, and the RedHawks are up 2-0 with 2 hits.
Yeah, Kreuzer really, like I said, these aren't guys you want to have barrel up the ball, but he's letting his off-speed hang over the plate a little bit, and Zaborowski and Badicic have both been able to really time it up and shoot the ball where the defense isn't, and really good piece of hitting there from Rylan Zaborowski. Great job driving in the run there.
So now it's Evan Applewick at the plate.
Yeah, Applewick, a guy who usually isn't hitting this high in the lineup. Typically somebody who's hitting 6 or 7. Usually you have one of the Novaks hitting a little bit higher, but Applewick hitting really well as of late and able to work his way up the lineup. Smiley starting to rely on him a little bit more for some offensive production.
Zaborowski goes for second, and he is safe at second base, avoiding the tag by Drew Jones.
Man.
Looks like for sure he was going to be out, but an off-speed pitch and a not-so-great throw from behind the dish resulted in a stolen base for the big left fielder.
Yeah, Zaborowski, only had 3 steals on the season. That's somebody typically who's a stolen base threat, and I'll tell you that he probably should have been out on a good, clean relay and a good throw. I mean, that's probably an out, but a nifty swim move so with his feet to get around Drew Jones, and boy, that's a really great base running there from Zaborowski.
Applewick 1 for 4 yesterday as we shift back to the 1-2 count here as he sees that one go 2-2. But Applewick 1 for 4 yesterday, but still he had a big hit. Ended up allowing Trey Keels to pinch run for him. And then Keels ended up coming around to score. So getting on base in any way possible for these RedHawks has been a huge catalyst of their success as he shoots that one deep into center field. Going back is Hugo. Looking up, it is gone.
Holy cow!
Evan Applewick smokes that one over the center field wall and puts the RedHawks up 4-0 in the first inning.
Wow! I mean, that didn't just clear the 400 mark in center field. That darn near cleared the black fences behind center field. Goodness gracious, he smoked that.
An absolute bomb from Evan Applewick for his first hit of the day. Continues his hit streak and puts the RedHawks up 4-0 here in the first.
Boy,
taking advantage of a young pitcher on the mound.
Yeah, boy, not the start you want if you're Nico Cruiser, giving up 4 runs in your start here. He's not a guy typically starts. This is only second game that he started here, but goodness gracious, yeah, definitely not how you want to get things going. There's some activity in the Eastern Michigan bullpen. Some guy, it looks like there's somebody warming up in there already. Can't be too surprised by that. I can't quite get their number, but definitely somebody getting ready. So might not see too much more of Nico Cruiser as he's typically a short inning guy in general.
But again, this lead is not safe, and you know, even
not,
just after the first inning, it was a double play that really changed the tide. But you know, the RedHawks were up 4-0 yesterday after the first inning, and the Eastern Michigan bats found their way back, and that's been the strength for this team. I mean, you talked about it earlier, Sean. I think when you look up and down this pitching staff, it's not, you know, super threatening, but when you look at the hitters, there's multiple guys hitting over 300, multiple guys with over 1,000 OPS. A lot to get on base. It's just you need to be aware of what you're throwing against as well, and that no lead is safe. You got to keep adding on runs here.
Yeah, I mean, you look at this lineup, and there's so many different guys on this lineup hitting over 300. This is a team, like I mentioned earlier in the broadcast, who's hitting over 300 as a squad. But when you go from 6 to 7. From 2 to 7 in the lineup, and only one guy is hitting below 300. That is difficult stuff to contend with.
Ryan Novak is struck out looking on a 1-2 count. Fouled a couple away, but just wasn't able to see that one all the way and take a hack at it. He gives way to David Novak, the man of the hour from yesterday's ball game. The big home run, as we alluded to earlier in this broadcast, big home run in the bottom of the 8th inning. And if it weren't for that home run, the RedHawks likely would have lost that game. As in the top of the 9th inning, when Peyton Olenek came in for relief, he ended up bringing in 2 runs across. So they ended up winning 12-10, but it was 12-8 entering that top of the 9th inning, only because of David Novak's home run. As he smokes that one, that'll get down for a base hit to left field.
Boy, this is looking like batting practice for the RedHawks lineup a little bit. I mean, every single hit that they have had, it has been a really nice barrel. So just an easy, clean hit into the left field there. And yeah, like I said, that is too easy if you're Nico Cruiser. Not encouraging results for him.
And you can even just see it from here. Like you said, Sean, it does look like a lot of these off-speed pitches are just kind of hanging up there.
No, exactly right. Yeah, those off speeds are really, he's not able to throw those very well. He's not able to rely on his fastball. He keeps throwing his fastball super high, so it's kind of forcing him to try to work his off speed in the strike zone, and it's getting teed up as a result.
After a foul ball, that one's shot into left field, but the catch will be made to end the inning. So the RedHawks, 4 runs on 4 hits, including an Evan Applewick bomb over the center field wall. And they are up early in this game, 4-0 against the Eastern Michigan Eagles, as Nick Vardavas returns to the mound to try and keep the RedHawks lead at 4. You are listening to Miami Baseball on Red Hawk Radio. Back for some Miami baseball here in Oxford, Ohio. It's a cloudy day, a little bit of wind, but a good day for baseball nonetheless.
Absolutely.
And a good first inning for the RedHawks offense as they put up 4 runs on 4 hits. As these Eastern Michigan Eagles bats are coming back up to the plate. Up first in the second inning is the catcher Lucas Johnson, hitting .333 on the year, 3 home runs, 22 RBIs. Again, one of these Eagles hitters that has had success at the plate this year. Vardavas steals that one outside for ball 1.
Yeah, Johnson, a guy who's a transfer from Wright State, just down the street from us, it kind of feels like. I mean, not too far away, but yeah, really pretty close. And he's actually a guy who's from Canada, from Hamilton, Ontario, and played his high school ball at Westdale Secondary School in Ontario, so...
He shoots that one at the shallow right field. Ryan Novak coming in. He slides. He's not able to make the catch, and it gets by him. Johnson rounds second, heading for third. Novak gets the ball in. Applewick cuts it off, but a stand-up triple for the leadoff hitter in this second inning, Lucas Johnson.
That's brutal right there. Really not an easy play to make there for the right fielder Ryan Novak, but regardless... Johnson could have gone home on that. I sincerely think that there was a chance he could have gotten inside the park home run on that because he was barreling around third.
Right.
He wanted home badly.
Now up to the plate is Hayden Arbogast. Hayden Arbogast had a home run yesterday, an absolute no-doubter. One of 2 no-doubters of the day, the other being David Novak. But Arbogast had the first of the 2, and it was worth it. He absolutely smoked that ball. He's now looking to recreate something with a man on third. Fouls that one back to the screen.
Arbogast, a guy very well-traveled, but hit basically everywhere he's been. Started his career at Mid-Michigan College, hit .411 there with 14 home runs, and was a JUCO All-American. Went to Kellogg Community College then, hit .332 there, and now he's here at Eastern Michigan, hitting over .340 now for the .330 rather for the Eagles.
Arbogast has 4 homers on the year, one of them coming yesterday, 17 RBIs total. 3-1 count here on the righty. As Johnson takes his lead off third, Vardavas looks at his wrist. And he deals inside. Ball gets away from Novak momentarily, but Novak is able to recover it, and that's going to be a walk. So runners on the corners with no outs here. Vardavas once again in a jam that he has worked himself into.
Yeah, this is not the position you want to be in, but it helps that you're starting to get to the bottom of the lineup here. You got Schrodel, who's hitting 331, but then their next two hitters are Drew Jones, who's hitting 235, and Glenn Miller hitting 228. So you really hope if you can work through Schrodel here and maybe get a big strikeout, you give yourself a really good chance to potentially get out of this.
It's also worth mentioning, I mean, you do talk about it's worth mentioning that this bottom of the lineup yesterday was very good.
Absolutely.
For Eastern Michigan. Both Miller and Jones, the 9 and 8 hitters respectively, had 2 hits each. Miller went 2 for 3, Jones went 2 for 4, so
yeah,
Jones also had a home run.
Yeah, there are no slouches. I get exactly what you're saying, and like I said, it's what makes this Eastern Michigan lineup pretty dangerous.
So that one is slowly grounded to second base. A run will score, and the play is he's safe at first.
Man.
Blake Buzzio grounded that one. Excuse me, that one was grounded to Blake Buzzio, and he took his time to make the throw. It was a slow ground ball, so it was a little bit hard to come in. Couldn't judge where it was going, but Buzzio shifted over, did not really charge into that one, and took his time on the throw, and now with the run scored, there's still no outs.
Not the kind of inning you're hoping, especially after a 4 spot in the first, but still a very good chance for Vardavas with guys on first and second here to maybe get out of this jam a little bit. Oh,
Jones shoots that one into right center field. McDonald going back at the wall. He makes the grab.
At the warning
Runner
track.
is tagging from second. So runners now on the corners, and yeah, McDonald on the warning track made that grab. Looked like that one could have some carry, as the wind is blowing out that direction.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that was a crisis averted there a little bit. That could have been a really big problem for Vardavas if McDonald wasn't such a superb defender and just a little bit
that
more
would have tied the
carry.
game.
That would have been a real. Thankfully, Vardavas able to live to see another day here with just guys in the corners.
Not out of the woods yet as Glenn Miller steps into the batter's box. He sees a curveball in there for strike one. But you have to think as well. I mean, you have an offense that's ready to smoke the ball, and
yeah,
you know, when your pitcher, after you score 4 runs in the first inning and your pitcher gets stuck in a jam, that one is shot into the gap in left center field by Miller. 1 run will score. The ball is thrown. Another run will score as a 2 RBI double. Puts the RedHawks only up 1 after a 4-run first inning.
It feels like neither guy is really able to get anything going with their off speeds at all, because that was an off speed absolutely lifted into left center field there. And like I said, I don't know if it's just because it's a little more humid today, you aren't able to get as much break on the pitches, but regardless, it's been tough for both pitchers today.
Yeah, not a great outing if you're either of the pitching coaches for these squads. And after a 4-run first inning, Nick Vardavas worked himself into trouble and has now given up 3 runs as the lineup turns over. That one's shot to Blake Buzzio at second. He throws to third, and the tag is applied, so a great play by Buzzio to get the lead runner.
Yeah, very heads-up play from Buzzio there. I'm very impressed that he was able to snap up and get that play to the third baseman, Tyler Gordon. Gordon able to apply the tag and get him out.
Buzzio made that play earlier that allowed a runner to be safe at first base. Didn't really take his time to throw, but there did not hesitate to make the throw to Tyler Gordon over at third. A great heads-up play by the second baseman. So the runner is safe at first, but now there's no runners in scoring position, so Vardavas has that going for him.
Yeah, that's
2 outs now, of course.
That's why that play at third was so crucial, because if they don't get if for some reason Gordon isn't able to apply that tag, well, you still only have 1 out, and you still have men on the corners again, and so even just a deep fly ball to right center field, and suddenly you've got another run and tie ball game.
So the lineup has turned over. Vance was the one that hit the ball to Buzzio that induced that play at third, and now it is the big DH for today. He was first baseman yesterday, Nathan Ball. Had a walk in his first appearance. Artemis works the count to 2-1 here. Already had one pickoff throw over to first, but not going to do it here as that one is low. Runner goes.
Oh,
Baker makes the tag, and he is
out
out at second base.
Wow.
Dylan Baker at shortstop was not expecting the runner to go. He had to run all the way from his position to second base and grab the throw, but he made a fantastic tag on the sliding Vamps and ends the inning. But not without any damage as the Eagles get 3 runs back. The Miami Bats coming back up in the bottom of the second, looking to add to their lead. You're listening to Miami Baseball on Red Hawk Radio. So after a fantastic play made on an attempted stolen base by Dylan Baker, the Miami Bats are back up, looking to add to their now run lead. The number 9 hitter, third baseman for today, Tyler Gordon, played third base yesterday as well. He steps into the batter's box. Nico Cruiser is still in there. And Gordon immediately sees the first pitch and shoots that one for a base hit into left field.
I don't know about you, but it looked like he was showing bunt there for
It looked like that for a moment, that's right.
And he whipped his bat back and then ripped it right back out to left side. That was impressive discipline there for Tyler Gordon.
So immediately the Red Hawks have a runner on base as the lineup turns over for the leadoff hitter, Dylan Baker. Baker made that play to end the inning. Sees the first pitch in for a strike.
Yeah, Gordon second on the team in steals too, with 5 for 6 on the season in stolen base attempts, and so he's somebody you'll definitely want to keep an eye out for as he takes a pretty generous lead on Nico Cruiser here.
That one's dealt low for a ball, and yeah, I mean there's only this Miami team does not steal much.
No,
they
definitely
have
not.
Zach McDonald, who has attempted 14 times and stolen 12 times, and then the next highest is Gordon, who's on first base with 6 attempts and 5 stolen bases.
Right. I mean, just top to bottom, it's a lot of power guys who aren't necessarily the fastest and aren't especially aggressive. I mean, even McDonald, you would assume a guy with his speed would get the green light more, but even the Red Hawks are pretty conservative in that regard.
Gordon gets checked on twice in a row by Cruiser over at first base, and again, I mean, you look at this Eastern Michigan lineup, and there are 2 guys with at least 10 attempts. They have 4 guys with at least 7. Baker grounds that one to third. Play is made to second, and play is made to first. So a double play is turned by the Eastern Michigan defense. And the base hit by Tyler Gordon on the first pitch from Cruiser is now nullified.
Yeah, I mean, that's textbook play right there for third baseman Glenn Miller, able to just gentle ground ball, able to just scoop it, send it to the second baseman, Drew Jones, and Jones able to make a great throw over to first and able to get 2 outs there.
That's a big 2 outs for Nico Cruiser as well.
Especially with the damage this Red Hawks lineup has been doing to him early.
Zach McDonald steps in, sees first pitch strike. He's 0 for 1 on the day.
Yeah, McDonald was a guy who as recently as beginning of this month was hitting 400. I mean, this guy was on an absolute tear, but had, in his terms, a bit of a slump, but really came back. He was a MAC Player of the Week this past week against Toledo, where he had 4 home runs in that weekend series, including 2 in the Saturday game. Really just it's good to see him getting back on his feet.
1-1 pitch is dealt outside for a 2-1 count. And again, I mean, we talked about it a little bit yesterday on the broadcast, but one of the biggest, just sequence of events this year for the RedHawks baseball team has been the sweep of Toledo. McDonald fouls that one back. I mean, they're had the chance to talk to Peyton Olenek the other day, and he talked about how important it is that this team, for him and for his teammates, that they make it into the MAC postseason and have a chance to win a championship. And if they didn't sweep Toledo, if they didn't even win that series, it would have been really tough to do that.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, this was a team.
And they didn't just sweep them; they won by a lot of runs.
Handedly, yes. I mean, and this was a team too coming off of a sweep. The last week as a sweep against Western Michigan, and the week before that losing the series to Ball State 2-1, and so they had some ground to make up. And winning 6 games in a row, and obviously a couple of those in non-conference, but winning 6 games in a row is certainly a good way to get yourself back into contention there.
That's right. McDonald worked a full count. At last pitch, he fouled away. So 3-2 with 2 outs on the number 2 hitter in the second inning, and he skies that one into right center field. Outfielders are going back, and that is made on the warning track. So that's 2 half innings in a row where a catch on the warning track is made. Looked like the ball was going out, but it does not carry far enough. So no runs for the RedHawks in the bottom of the second inning. Score is still 4-3. RedHawks lead the hits battle 5-4. No errors for either team. We will be back in the top of the 3rd inning as the Eagles bats come back up. You're listening to Miami Baseball on Red Hawk Radio. Back in Oxford for Miami RedHawks baseball, Jeff Middleton alongside Sean Wiesemann here. McKie Field at Hayden Park as Nathan Ball, the DH, steps back into the plate after the last time he was up. Cooper Vamps got caught stealing by Dylan Baker and David Novak behind the plate. So he will step back in with a refreshed chance to do some damage against Nick Vardavas, who has, frankly, struggled to this point.
Yeah, and Ball, somebody in limited time, really taking the most of his opportunity. A guy hitting 375 as that one.
Grounds that one to Buzzio at second. Buzzio makes the jump throw, and he is out at first base.
That was like a Jeter kind of play. Is what that looked like. You know, running away from your throwing arm and kind of tossing it, jumping up and tossing it to first, and somehow getting Nathan Ball there. Wow.
Yep, a Derek Jeter-esque play behind the bag at second base. Again, Blake Buzzio, though, taking a little bit too long to let that ball out of his hand.
That mental timer is going to need to get a little bit of a reset for sure.
That's the second runner that he's had to deal with that has gotten a chance to score, as that one's grounded through Tyler Gordon. And over to the left field wall, Zaborowski fields it, and he hurls it in to Dylan Baker, the cutoff man. So a stand-up double for the center fielder Logan Hugo after Nathan Ball grounded out to Blake Buzzio. So a man in scoring position again early in the inning for Nick Vardavas.
And that brings up a really good hitter, too.
Yep, the cleanup hitter, Gianna Zuccaro, now up.
Yeah, Zuccaro.
Zuccaro had an uncharacteristic day yesterday. He only went 1 for 4. Nonetheless, Still a fantastic hitter.
He's a guy who followed the head coach at Eastern Michigan, Robbie Britt. Followed him over from University of Charleston in West Virginia, and obviously making a huge impact. Good find for him.
Tied for the team league in batting average at .375. Vardavas deals that one in for a strike to even the count at 1-1.
Yeah, Zucaro, one of two guys who came over with their head coach, and he's been a really good guy. Drew Breckner, the left-hander and outfielder, was the other guy who came over.
Vardavas takes a step off. Him and Novak trying to get into the same wavelength, as me and my buddies would say. Vardavas steals the 1-1. That's low, bounces, and Novak is able to corral it. Keep the runner from moving at second. So a 2-1 count here on Zucaro. 0 for 1 on the day. He had a strikeout in his first at bat. But nonetheless, a threat at the dish.
Yeah, and Zucaro, guy who has a lot of extra base hits, leads the team in doubles and a couple triples as well, and 4 home runs. So certainly somebody who can really barrel up the ball if given the opportunity here.
Nice curveball there from Vardavas. 2-2 now. Ball just disappeared on Zucaro. Wonder if he goes back to that pitch again. The 2-2. High off speed, skied into left field. Zaborowski settles under it, and he makes the play for the second out of the inning.
Like to see that. You're getting the 4-hole hitter out of the way and starting to slowly work your way down the lineup is a good sign for Vardavas, especially after some of those early miscues.
And again, that was a high off-speed pitch that was not an off-speed pitch in the dirt, but it ended up being on the gun at 76, and it just looked like Zucaro got under it and just skied it out deep in the left field. So now it's Lucas Johnson, the catcher, had that stand-up triple in his first appearance at the plate. Ryan Novak in right field was not able to make the sliding grab, and the ball got all the way to the wall. And Johnson was moving. He was booking it around second base, trying to get that triple. His count moves quickly 2-0. With 2 outs here in the top of the third. Glad you could be with us here on this Saturday afternoon for some Miami baseball. So 2-0 here on Johnson. He sees a pitch high and outside, make it 3-0. So 3 straight balls for Vardavas.
Yeah, not a position you want to be in, giving up a walk here. Even with 2 outs, they did some damage last inning with 2 outs, and certainly don't want that to happen again.
One's dealt high for a walk, so 4-pitch walk dealt to Johnson. So he has reached base safely both times, once with that triple and now with that walk. And it brings up Hayden Arbogast, who was also issued a walk in his first at-bat. So 2 men on with 2 outs in the top of the third inning. Scores 4-3 still. RedHawks are leading. They're leading the hits battle as well, 5-4. They also have an error.
Arbogast, kind of a interesting stance.
Fouls that one away.
Yeah, he kind of aligns himself diagonally while he's in the box. He's not facing the pitcher Vardavas straight up, and he has that right foot on that chalk, and that left foot almost on the chalk adjacent to home plate.
Vardavas went back for a pickoff attempt and almost hit the runner.
Almost hit him in the head.
It's interesting. They scored that Hugo shot through Gordon as an error.
Interesting, yeah.
So Hugo, who is now on second base, will be unearned runs from here on out for Vardavas, as that one's grounded to Baker at short. Gives to Buzzio at second, and that will end the inning.
Good job.
So Nick Vardavis closes it out with 2 runners on. Score is still 4-3 from Oxford, Ohio. You're listening to Miami Baseball on Red Hawk Radio. So a new pitcher on the mound for the Eagles will be number 22, Drew Beckner, who, Sean, I believe you touched on, but Drew Beckner, a junior from Westerville, Ohio, 6'2", 205 pounds, season ERA of 6.57, a whip of 1.66, record of 2-6, appeared in 11 games, started 10 of them, pitched 50 2/3 innings with 53 strikeouts.
Yeah, I guess this was kind of the cruiser was kind of the opener, so to speak. My guess is that they're going to ask Beckner to absorb a lot of the innings from here on out, as he's pitched over 50 innings. Guy gets a lot of strikeouts, also walks a lot of guys. 38 walks on the season, 53 strikeouts, and 50 2/3 innings. And yeah, like you said, this is only the second game he's appeared in that he has not started in. So I know that the RedHawks like to employ something similar with Peyton Olenek. They would frequently have a guy who would maybe go out there for an inning or two and then ask Olenek to go get them 4, 5, 6 innings. And I'm sure that's what the Eagles are asking for today for Drew Beckner.
We saw it yesterday with Bobby Jones, another guy who has started most of his appearance. Spadicic skies that one on the infield. Miller settles under it at third base and makes the first out of the inning for Beckner. But again, yesterday, he had Liam Baker open yesterday, and then Bobby Jones came in and pitched pretty much the rest of the game. And you saw early through the first couple of innings, he only allowed 1 hit and wasn't really allowing the Miami hitters to do much of anything. But then as he got towards the back end of his outing, really struggled, especially with control. Gave up 6 hits, 7 runs, 6 of them earned, 5 walks, and 4 strikeouts yesterday. So we'll see how Drew Beckner can control his pitches today.
Ooh.
That's 2 on the inside to Rylan Zaborowski, now up.
Yeah, those are both darn near hit him on both of those pitches. That's Zabo lucky that doesn't have a nice bruise on his shin yet.
Saw that as well yesterday. Zaborowski swings and misses at that one, but yeah, the pitchers for the Eastern Michigan team, especially Jones, less of Liam Baker, but more Bobby Jones. He was really walking a fine line with some of these RedHawks hitters as Zaborowski cuts on and misses for a second strike.
Boy, he is not catching a beat on these pitches at all. He has been behind and behind on back-to-back pitches.
Beckner's last outing was against Akron, where he pitched 7 2/3 innings. Zaborowski swings and misses for the first strikeout of the day for Drew Beckner.
You do not see that a lot either from Rylan Zaborowski.
That's three straight hacks, and he didn't even foul anything off. He just completely missed, which is uncharacteristic.
Right. I mean, he's a guy who does who's third on the team in strikeouts, but I mean, goodness, you don't see him get fooled like that on 3 straight pitches very often at all.
Applewick grounds that one to first base. And the play is made, so an easy inning for Drew Beckner in the bottom of the 3rd inning. So no runs scored. Still 4-3 RedHawks. But an easy inning for Drew Beckner is a little bit concerning as Nick Vardavas makes his way back onto the mound for the RedHawks. We'll see what he can do in the top of the 4th when we come back. You're listening to Miami Baseball on Red Hawk Radio. Back here in Oxford for some Red Hawk baseball. Jeff Middleton alongside Sean Wiesemann. And Sean is going to give you play-by-play for the next few innings, innings 4 through 6 as we get started here. Sean, take it away.
Thanks, Jeff. Got a great game here today. I've been really excited to watch some more baseball here as it's such a beautiful day today. And it's 4-3 RedHawks currently with Vardavas back out there and Kyle Schrodel up to plate, who's got a hit and an RBI as he takes a big cut and misses on that one as the count is now 0-1 on an 87-mile-an-hour fastball. That was a really good pitch there for Vardavas.
It's a good day.
Oh, go ahead.
Sorry,
go ahead.
No, going back to.
Someone's hit to third baseman who corrals. Oh, and Applewick gets right by Applewick, and that ball is going to get past Applewick as that's a error, and that's 2-base hit for Schrodel, who got kind of lucky on a not great play, great throw rather from Tyler Gordon, the third baseman, and Applewick not able to make the pick. What were you going to say though?
Oh, I was just going to say that it's good because the RedHawks. It's good to be back because the RedHawks have not been home.
Right, that's what I
long
mean.
time.
I'm happy to be doing some games again. I'm excited to watch some games here and some Red Hawk baseball. Always enjoyable here at McKie Field at Hayden Park. Beautiful venue and a beautiful day, and that makes it all the more exciting to sit here and watch. Hopefully, a RedHawks run as shows bunt, and that is Drew Jones, and that is a safe at third. Drew Jones dropped a bunt, but it looks like they try to make a play at third, but Schrodel able to head first dive in there, and they called him safe. That is a brutal play, and there's now men on the corners with no outs.
Yeah, I mean, that play by Gordon, you saw him make that play yesterday a couple times. He just underthrew it just a bit, and Applewick wasn't able to pick it out of the turf, I guess, not the dirt, but you get what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And ended up going over to the screen by the bullpen, put the runner on second, and then Vardavas, that bunt went right to him, but he just wasn't able to corral it quick enough to get it over to third. So runners now on the corners as the bunt by Drew Jones is successful.
As that is a big swing and a miss for the 9-hole third baseman Glenn Miller, senior, hitting .228, and yeah, oh my gosh, that's just a brutal play. And they tried to make a similar play to that, obviously not on a bunt, but on a play to the second base, shortstop rather. That's bounced in the dirt for 1-1 count, but yeah, they were able to make that play earlier, and they maybe thought, oh, we can get the lead runner again, but not able to. And see, that's the exact position you don't want to be if you're Nick Vardavas with no outs, men on the corners here, really hoping you can get Miller. So that's a pickoff attempt on the runner at first, Drew Jones, but easy play over there. Starting to warm up a little bit here in Oxford, Ohio, as the clouds start to move past and the sun starts to creep out. It's another pickoff move. Not the most full-throated attempts, though, I will say.
Yeah, it
kind
looks
of
like he's just trying to keep him over there.
Yeah, definitely not a lot of effort put into those pickoff moves. But, yeah, Drew Jones, somebody who's not a lot of stolen bases, but certainly not a bad base runner. So that was a foul ball, and the count is now 1-2 on Miller. You have hitters 1 and 2 up next. Cooper Vamps and Nathan Ball, as that's a chopper hit to third base, and that's going to be an attempt for a double play, but only able to get the runner at second, as not a great throw to second base. And as a result, the runner does score, but they are able to get a man out, so there is going to be runner at first, that being Miller, who's able to advance on a fielder's choice, and that puts Cooper Vance up to the plate.
This game is now tied. So again, Vardavis working himself into trouble and ends up giving up a run in this top of the fourth inning.
Absolutely right. Yeah, that's the unfortunate part of getting guys on base early, is Eastern Michigan will make you pay, and pay they did. Is, like you said, it is now 4-4 with a big lead from Glenn Miller there, but no cigar, as that's a first pitch ball taken for Vardavis. And yeah, you're really starting to get into the meat of the order again with ball on deck, and get Logan Hugo, the center fielder, the 3-hole, up after him. Vardavis looking at the runner at first, winds and fires, and that is up and away, as there was an attempted, looked like a pump fake almost from the catcher David Novak, but did not decide to throw it back down to first, and so count is should be 2-0. And that's a strike. And
as of right now, the scoreboard says it's
1-1. There you go. They updated. I was going to say, I know I didn't hallucinate that first ball he just threw, as he winds and fires, and that's a foul ball hit to the left side out of play, and evens the count now at 2-2, and Vardavis really putting himself in a good position if he's able to get Cooper Vamps here with one out. Looking at the pitch com Vardavis is, and
yeah, it just hasn't been the kind of swing and miss day that you want if you're Vardavis. He doesn't have overpowering stuff. He makes a pickoff attempt to first again, but
no, you're right.
That doesn't have the overpowering stuff, and when you don't have that kind of stuff, you need some sort of deceptive pitch, and there just hasn't been any of that.
No, Vardavis doesn't have that wipeout slider or whatever. You know, he doesn't have that go-to pitch that he can lean on, as that's a kind of a weak fly ball hit, and that is a great play by the shortstop. Dylan Baker. Yeah, that's a great play. He was it was like a back shoulder fade almost, that he had to catch that ball behind him, and as a result, it's 2 outs. And yeah, you really, really like that if you're Nick Vardavis, because that could have been easily trouble if you don't have a great defender and Dylan Baker playing shortstop for you. And that brings up
now, instead of 1 out and 2 men on, it's 2 outs and only 1 guy on first.
Absolutely,
No
that's
man on scoring position.
Completely different tune you're singing right there.
That's right.
With that position, as that's a pickoff attempt, a little bit more of an attempt there on the runner at first. But now Nathan Ball, the lefty, up to bat. And Ball, a freshman, is 0 for 1 today with a walk.
Said yesterday, Ball is a freshman, but he's certainly not built like one.
No, big kid.
He's
Very
a
big kid.
Big kid.
Yeah, I mean, he's currently listed
6'2", 205 pounds.
Yeah. Yeah, 6'3", 210 is what it says on their website here. And 0-1 count and multiple pickoff attempts for Vardavis have been unsuccessful. So you still have an 0-1 count with the runner there. As that's a weak ground ball hit to third, and there's a play on it, and he gets the runner. That's the third baseman, Tyler Gordon, and able to get the final out there but a run is able to score for Eastern Michigan, so the score is still 4-4. Thank you so much for listening to Red Hawk Radio here, and we'll be back here in just a minute. Welcome back to Red Hawk Radio. I'm Sean Wiesemann here with Jeff Middleton, and we have ourselves a great game, currently tied 4-4 in the bottom of the 4th inning as Beckner goes to work, gets Ryan Novak. Novak 0 for 1 today with a strikeout. Came against Nico Cruiser, started the game. As that is a first pitch taken for a strike on a really nice off-speed pitch, 71 miles an hour, and boy, that looked every bit of the 71 miles an hour.
Beckner has an interesting release. He extends his arm so far behind him. He ends up having it sort of below his waist and then just kind of hurling it towards the plate, but he's not throwing super hard on the gun.
No, he's not. No, you're right. I mean, that was 72 on that last pitch for a ball, and you're right. That funky release that's another strike.
Yeah,
make the count 1-2. It does make it really deceptive, and
he's sitting around the mid to low 80s with his fastball, and then the rest is like he had a slow curve of high 60s. That one's 75. Looked like that was a slider or a fastball that just got away from him, but nonetheless, I mean, it worked in that first inning of relief. He went 1-2-3, super easy inning for him. So
for sure,
looking to continue that.
As that's a ball down and away. Makes the count full here, 3-2, and really hope that Novak can work a walk after especially his first at-bat not being so hot with a strikeout. But that's a windup. That is a barrel hit in between the second and first baseman, and that is a leadoff base hit for Ryan Novak. Boy, he crushed that. It was only a 77-mile-an-hour pitch, but he put all of his body into that one. As that puts a runner on first with the other Novak, of no relation though, David Novak, up to the plate. Novak 1 for 1 today with base hit, and hopefully see if he can get another one here. Is big lead taken by Ryan Novak over at first as he hops back for a second anticipating a pickoff but doesn't, and that's a first pitch strike for Beckner.
Yeah, this 1-2 punch of Novak and Novak, or the lefty-righty kind of combo in the middle of the order.
That ball gets away from him on a pickoff attempt to first, and it looks like he's going to go 3. That ball is way out of reach, and good heads-up base running as Novak able to get to third, from first to third, Ellie De La Cruz style. And, boy, you like to see that. Just a really errant attempt on the pickoff move, and as a result, you have a man in scoring position with no outs here. It's almost as if the guy just hit a leadoff triple.
Yeah, Hayden Arbogast tried to jump back and grab that one, but he just wasn't able to. Looked like he was just thrown a little bit too far away from him by Beckner, and now that puts him into trouble.
As that is a pop-up hit to the right side of the infield. The second baseman, who is shaded over kind of in center field, able to make it. That second baseman is Drew Jones, and that's 1 out. So runner at third base unable to advance because of how shallow that was, and that puts the 8-hole hitter, Blake Buzzio, up to bat, who, like I mentioned earlier in the broadcast, hitting well as of late. Buzzio 0 for 1 today, though, so hope to see him get going and hope to take advantage of a really good opportunity and a really crucial mistake for the Eagles here, as that's a ball 1 bounced in front of Buzzio.
Yeah, the infield playing in.
Very in, and also, you'll notice
Second baseman Jones has shifted over.
That's what I was just about to say, is they are really playing the pool here as Drew Jones is playing more or less where a shortstop would play, as that's a foul ball hit over to the right side. And, yeah, you're pretty much everybody's either in the green turf or
on the edge of it.
Yeah, or playing even with the bag at best, as they're really hoping to nail a runner down at home if they need to, as that's another foul ball, and the count is 1-2 for Buzzio, and that one hit almost straight back, 85 miles an hour.
That result from David Novak, just literally any result other than
right.
that is
Yeah,
what you want.
Even a nice ground ball gives you at least a chance to make a play, but as Buzzio swings and misses on that, that was way outside, and he took a big old hack hoping to make something happen, and boy, that is just not good for the RedHawks, as you now have a man on third with 2 outs, as the left-handed hitting Tyler Gordon is up to bat. And Gordon, interesting because he bats lefty but throws righty and plays that third base position now to Don Mattingly. Is nothing like that but as a first pitch ball taken.
Gordon had that bloop single to left field, excuse me. Bloop single to left field earlier is one hit in 1AB, so he has made contact today. On a different pitcher, of course, but
yeah, absolutely. And he had a good pitch to swing at there, as that was right down Broadway, as the cowboy for the Reds would like to say. The count is now 1-1 here for Tyler Gordon, as that's a really nice pitch. Kind of scratches the outside corner. That makes the count 1-2 now, and boy, you really hope that RedHawks can make something out of this, because this is a really unfortunate situation here if not able to do anything, as that's a ball in the dirt. Thankfully, home plate umpire Mike Martin did not see a strike there. Would have been catastrophic, and the count is 2-2. He winds and fires. That one's also outside, and the count is now full after Beckner was able to get ahead 1-2, and Gordon a chance to get on base here for a second time today.
Would turn the lineup over as well.
Absolutely, and as that's barreled up the middle, and that's a base hit, and you love to see that, as that is an RBI single for Tyler Gordon, and that sends the runner at third home. And that makes the score 5-4 RedHawks. And boy, you got to be very happy if you're Brian Smiley. I would have been livid if I were him. If you get a guy on third with no outs and somehow aren't able to get him home, but able to scavenge that run across, and as a result, you get the leadoff hitter, Dylan Baker, the shortstop, up to bat against Beckner. As he also barrels that one into left center. That one falls for a single, and that almost goes over the head of center fielder, but able to make the play. The center fielder, Logan Hugo, had to really use all of his vertical to go and grab that. That bounced right in front of him, and it was a tough play, almost like a rebound on basketball-wise. But, I mean, there's now runners at the corners, and you love to see that now, as Zach McDonald, the guy you want up in this spot here, is going to hit for the RedHawks.
Yeah, I mean, just clinical work from Dylan Baker there.
Absolutely, yeah.
Sees the first pitch, drives it, and it's interesting when you look back.
Oh,
Ryan,
looks like Robbie Britt's going to have a word with.
There's going to be a meeting on the mound. But
yeah.
Just going back to that, Ryan Novak, when he came across home plate, stopped Baker before he got into the batter's box and took him aside and said something to him. So I'm not sure if he saw something. I'm sure he did. He wouldn't have stopped him if he said anything.
I'm sure there was a tell of some sort or something like that he was able to get, or some piece of advice. You're right.
But again, Ryan Novak stopped him, told him something, and then Baker hopped into the batter's box and smacked one for a base hit on the first pitch. I mean, he saw what he wanted to see.
No, good eye, Jeff. You're exactly right. That's and that was the kind of adjustment that they were able to make, and as a result, able to just get a nice barrel and bloop single in, once again, in front of the center fielder, Logan Hugo.
Great base running by Tyler Gordon as
Absolutely. Once again, another first to third from this RedHawks offense. And you know, we mentioned earlier in the broadcast how we don't see a lot of stolen bases, but this is a team that is very aggressive on their first to thirds.
That's right.
If there is even a remote chance they can get first to third, you will likely see third base coach for Miami telling them, come to third, because this is that's something they do very, very well.
Especially with 2 outs.
Absolutely.
If that ball hangs up.
That ball is hit to the third baseman, and that is just flipped over to second base, and that is a final out of the inning. But regardless, RedHawks able to scratch one across the board and take the lead again, as it is now 5-4 RedHawks here on Red Hawk Radio. Thank you so much for listening, and we will be right back in just a minute. Welcome back to Red Hawk Radio. I'm Sean Wiesemann here with Jeff Middleton, and we have ourselves an outstanding game of baseball and an outstanding day. The Red Hawks are up 5-4 here as the three-hole hitter, center fielder Logan Hugo, a righty, is up to bat against Nick Vardavas, who's, after a really rough start in the second inning, giving up 3 runs, has really settled down, only giving up 1 since, and as a result, scores 5-4. Like I mentioned, Red Hawks, as Hugo hits that ball right to the shortstop, Dylan Baker. Has an easy ground ball, and first out, 1 pitch, 1 out, and you love to see that if you're Nick Vardavas, especially when you were starting to work up a little bit of a pitch count, but thankfully that's only pitch number 64 for Vardavas now, and hopefully you can get some length from him, especially after you had to use 4 guys yesterday. Galdoni obviously gave you a little bit of length yesterday with 4 1/3, but other than that, you really weren't able to get a ton else. So, be good stuff, as that's a ball a little outside for that first pitch there on an off speed for Vardavas. And that's against the hitter, Gianna Zuccaro, who's probably the best hitter for the Eagles here of Eastern Michigan. As that's a chopper, very weakly hit, but it hits him as he's out. Yeah, because he hit it was a chopper, but it kind of drifted to the right side of the almost in foul territory. It was a fair ball, and he hit it as he was running, and as a result, that's an out.
Not purposefully, he did.
No, not at all intentionally, but that's a really tough break there for the Eastern Michigan Eagles, and it looks like the first base umpire, John Molesky, wants to explain that to Robbie Britt, who just want to make sure there's some clarification there. Because, yeah, that definitely hit him. That sure as heck hit him. And that's a really tough break, too, because that would have been a really tough play. It was kind of in no man's land with the catcher, David Novak, and Nick Vardavas, the pitcher. Kind of would have been a tough play for either of them to make. And as a result, it's Eastern Michigan out. And so that makes 2 outs for the Eagles. And like I mentioned, it's Gianni Zuccaro, the left-hander, who's going to be up to bat now. And like I mentioned, Zuccaro, the best hitter probably on the team, hitting 370 this season. He's got 26 RBIs, 28 runs, and 4 home runs. And he can make you pay with 1 swing. He's definitely got some power, and he leads the team in doubles as well. Not a guy who strikes out a whole lot, only 19 strikeouts this season, and gets on base at a very high clip, 462, and we were just gushing about McDonald. He's not far off of McDonald's on base percentage at all. And he's the Eastern Michigan's answer to McDonald, I suppose, as that's a first pitch hit to the left field foul territory, ground ball, and first pitch strike there. So the count is now 0-1.
Yeah, and you'd like to see Vardavas just have this easy inning.
Absolutely.
He just needs an easy top of the 5th and just let it work itself out from there. There is some action in the bullpen. Probably won't be long until he's brought out of the game.
Yeah, that's a nice second pitch there for a strike and off speed. It kind of clips the outside part of the plate. No, you're right though. That's you. And this is considering the state of pitching in the MAC as a whole. 5 innings, and 4 earned runs would certainly not be a bad outing at all for Nick Vardavas. You could certainly.
I think I'd be more concerned with how it happened, I think.
For sure, yeah.
He allowed a couple of barrels, and then he walked a couple guys, and then he wasn't able to really work out of it.
No, you're right.
He kind of cost himself. There were a couple plays that he could not prevent. The fielding was not great.
That's a barrel hit right up the middle. That's going to be a base hit for Gianna Zuccaro, so that's a 2-out single, and that puts the runner Lucas Johnson up. And, yeah, unfortunately there, you're that easy 1-2-3 inning you were looking for. Not going to happen, but you still have a chance to get a man at first or second here.
But, again, the fight is what I'm looking for there. It just doesn't seem like there's been any there's been a couple innings where he's the first inning he had a couple guys on base and then worked out of it.
Yeah.
But he hasn't really been able to do that and work out without damage. He's allowed hits, he's walked a couple guys, and then he just kind of hasn't really had any pitches that were truly swing and miss or anything like that, as Larry Scully's going to come out.
Yeah, Scully's not feeling that. That was a first pitch ball that was at about shoulder height
looks towards the bullpen. He hasn't motioned to it yet, but
Well, I'll tell you, if this is the end of the outing, yeah, it does look like that's going to be the end of the outing because it appears there's somebody else coming out of the bullpen. But if that's the end of the outing, you can't be too upset if you're Nick Vardavis. That's 4 2/3. That's 4 2/3, 3 earned runs, 3 walks, and a strikeout. So looks like
it's just going to be a meeting. It doesn't seem like.
Oh yeah, it looked like there was somebody coming out of the bullpen for a second.
One of the players,
yeah, it just must have been one of the players, like you said. Yeah, no, that's a good point though. You're just saying, Jeff, that there wasn't a lot of. It was a little bit of lack of mental toughness almost, it feels like, not really able to work through some of your early struggles, letting guys get on. I mean, it was more of a, okay, I guess those guys are, going to come across and just let a couple easy barrels and let some guys.
Yeah,
like you said, the defense wasn't any help, which is why he only has 3 earned runs rather than 4. But, I mean, still, that's certainly not ideal and not the thrilling performance you would certainly hope from a guy who's second on the team in ERA coming into this, as that's a second pitch fired in there for a strike at 81.
Yeah, and I think that Vardavis, his pitch count is not super high right now.
No, he's been efficient.
But he only has 1 strikeout, and he hasn't really. The first inning is what I would have liked to see. Is that one shot into shallow center field, and it'll drop in for a base hit. But again, that's one of those things where you have a man on first, and then you just kind of hang a ball up there, and then he just kind of punches it out to center field, and it's been one of those days. And it's hard to blame Vardavis fully. I mean, there's
some of it's just
unfortunately.
Yeah,
I mean, I hate to sit here and accuse him of not being mentally tough and trying to fight back, but
sure.
From up here, some of the pitches that he has thrown have either not broken his way or he just hasn't put them in the right spot.
No, you're right.
And when guys are on base, you can't do that.
Nope.
And that's been kind of the tail of the tape for today. That first inning and then the third inning were both solid for him in terms of both the amount of runs scored and how he fought back with guys on base, but still just not what he's looking for sure.
No, you're absolutely right. And I'll tell you too that as a new batter, by the way, is Hayden Arbogast, who's barrels that one to right side of the infield, and that scores the run, and so that ties it now, and that is exactly what you don't want. And I'm a little surprised we haven't seen Larry Scully come back out here, but I think
it's Patrick Mastrian in the bullpen,
yeah,
just by the way.
Okay. Yeah, Mastrian, a really, really solid pitcher himself, but that's
has some control issues, but nonetheless,
for sure,
one of the best pitchers on this
team,
staff.
for sure. Yeah. But they're going to lay Vardavis out here at least for the rest of this inning. There's a man on first and second with 2 outs, and that puts up Drew Jones, the second baseman. But, yeah, like you were saying, I mean, it's been a little unfortunate for Vardavis. Is that hit is a textbook example of what's been happening all day, where he's had chances to put these innings away, and he just hasn't been able to. And as a result, he's given up 4 earned runs, which is a shame because he's been pretty efficient. He's up to 75 pitches now, and even still, it doesn't feel like he's thrown that many.
No.
But it's just been a lot of dinking and dunking, I guess, as you could say.
And there comes a point, I think, that you have to wonder when it becomes enough for a change, because
that's a strike.
As of right now, you're 1-1, 2 outs, 2 men on, and you want to work. Ooh, that's a nice pickoff attempt there.
Almost got him there.
But you want him, for confidence's sake, to work out of this, obviously. It's going to be a huge help to end the day having pitched 5 full innings and
you never
get this guy's out. But
you don't want to end it getting yanked in the middle of an inning. That's one of the most demoralizing things as a pitcher. I agree.
But it's a nice swing and a miss there. But the problem is if you keep giving up hits, especially in 1 and 2 counts with 2 outs, you have to wonder when it becomes enough for Larry Scully and Brad Smiley to be willing to put in Mastrian and try and get the final out of this inning.
I imagine, Jeff,
if Vardavis does not do that.
Yeah, I imagine, Jeff, that if there's another hit allowed here or another man gets on bases, that's a ball that's hit right by Evan Applewick, and I wonder that's going to get at least 1 run through. And that's a 6-5 lead now that Eastern Michigan has taken. And, yeah, I was just about to say, I wonder if Scully decides, if he gives up another hit, if that's going to be it, or if he decides.
Because now you got a runner 90 feet away again.
Right. Do you really want to take your chances here, or do you want to stop the bleeding here? As that's
little bit of a malfunction with
Yeah, I
the
was gonna say,
scoreboard.
it looks like they're saying it's 16-5. It is not 16-5, my friends. It is 6-5. So, and that brings up the 9-hole Glenn Miller here with men on the corners. Vardavas up to about 80 pitches now, and
again, this is like you said earlier, Sean, and like I was talking about. I mean, this is where you need your pitcher to really pull through, and you have 2 outs, and that one's again a base hit, and that's another run.
And that's 7-5 now is the score for Eastern Michigan, as a base hit right to Zach McDonald, just bounced right about 15 feet in front of him, as nothing he could really do there, and that's another base hit.
He also lost his footing. It looked like he tried to come in.
Exactly right. I think that turf slipped out from under him a little bit there. So as a result, there's been on first and second with 2 outs.
But you get two quick outs in this inning, and then all of a sudden,
and now
it's
you get all this
batting
damage,
practice.
and now I was gonna say now you get all this damage, and yeah, boy, that's got to be a little demoralizing. If you were.
You're on top of it. You had the inning, and then
you were at 3 earned runs, and now you've doubled that just in this half inning, as that's a first pitch taken for a ball by the leadoff hitter Cooper Vamps. But yeah, like you said, that's just very demoralizing stuff here from Nick Vardavas.
And I think one of the issues that I've found having done this broadcasting thing this year for the baseball team is just about the control is where most of the issues rely. It's not really about, most of the pitchers on the staff consistently have pretty good swing and miss stuff, but the control is where they kind of lose it.
Yeah, it's a lot of walks. This is a walk-heavy lineup and staff.
Today has just been not good outside of a couple of innings for Nick Vardavas, and David Novak's going to come out and talk to him, and I don't know what the plan is here.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, Vardavas, when he's on, he's on.
Oh, yeah,
he's
absolutely.
Outstanding, and that's why you see him work so quickly in the first and third innings. But when he's off, he's off. He's really off. And unfortunately, you've kind of gotten the best of both worlds in the same game. And as a result, the score is 7-5. Is, like you said, Novak is having a quick telling Vardavas to take a breather, take a second. Score is only 7-5 still. Very much a winnable game here for the RedHawks, as we're right here, Red Hawk Radio, in the top of the 5th inning. 3 spot here in the top of the 5th for the Eagles, but yeah, Vardavas giving him some length, but not without sacrificing quite a few hits, giving up quite a few hits here. Like I said, though, that brings to the plate Cooper Vamps, who's hits that ball to shortstop, and that makes the play to second base, and that's going to end the inning. Thankfully, Vardavas able to get out of the inning, but not without allowing some damage, as that's a 3 spot in the 7th, and in the 5th, top of the 5th rather, as that score is 7-5 Eastern Michigan. Thank you guys so much for listening. We will be back here in just a minute. Welcome back to Red Hawk Radio. I'm Sean Wiesemann here with Jeff Middleton, and we have ourselves back and forth game as the last half inning in the top of the 5th, Eagles were able to regain a 7-5 lead. So that brings up to the plate Ty Batisic, the number 3 hole hitter, as that's a first pitch strike he takes. Gets the pitcher, Drew Beckner, who came in and has been all right so far, only giving up an earned run, strikeout, giving up 3 hits, as That's a second pitch. He really floats in there for kind of an outside part of the plate. And puts the count quickly at 0-2 for Batisic, who's going to need to work himself out of this one. As he winds and fires, and that one is in the dirt outside the plate, so that's going to make it 1-2. And Beckner working quickly here.
Batisic has an RBI for the day, so he has been impactful on the scoreboard as well.
For sure.
Like to see him do it again.
And that one down and away from the left-handed hitting Batisic. That makes the count even now, 2-2. Good crowd here today at McKie Field at Hayden Park, as that's a third ball there. Is another pitch, almost an identical pitch to the last one, bounced almost on home plate in the right-handed batter box. The chalk, as he winds and fires, and that is a chopper by Batisic. Hit to the pitcher.
Almost beat it.
Almost beat it out. Good play there from Beckner, and as a result, it's going to be 1 out on the board now for the 4-hole hitter Rylan Zaborowski, who today is 1 for 2 with an RBI. Also has a strikeout. And Zaborowski, not quite the power hitter he was last year. Last year he had 20 home runs, which was one off the record, single season Miami record, and he's got 7 this season as he barrels that one back kind of towards the Eastern Michigan dugout. That makes the count 0-1. He's got 7 this season, so not quite selling out for power as much as maybe he did last year. But he's still hitting the ball very well. As that ball's a little high and outside. Makes the count even at 1-1. And yeah, Zabo hitting over 320 this season. He takes a big swing and a miss. Boy, he's not reading Beckner very well at all.
Beckner is getting lots of advantage on him. He's been pitching very well against Zaborowski.
That is the 4th swing and miss in the last 2 at-bats that he's been able to draw from Rylan Zaborowski as he winds and fires. And that was a little low for home plate umpire Mike Martin's liking. So that makes the count even now again at 2-2. Zabo choking up just a tad here as he takes that ball inside. So the count is full. 3-2. Like I was saying before, good crowd here today.
That's right.
A lot of students here.
Yes.
Which it's a beautiful day. Yeah, it is a beautiful day, and that is a full count walk for Zabo, and you'd like to see that with a man on first now. That brings up Evan Applewick, the first baseman. Zabo, really great job there as he's able to work from a 1-2 count up to a walk, as Beckner was able to get some swing and misses early in the at-bat, but Zabo able to really get out of it, and as a result, you got a man on first here with 1 out.
And Evan Applewick, who already has a home run today.
An absolute missile to center field and just barely left center, and he takes that first pitch for a strike, and Zabo taking at least for his standards, a kind of generous lead on the left-hander Beckner, as that's a chopper hit to the shortstop, who's got to make a really tough play and is able to get him. That is Evan Applewick, who gets thrown out there by Cooper Vance, the shortstop. Really great piece of defense there, running ground ball. He had to kind of chase down and make that throw on the run as well, and able to get Applewick with about a step and a half to spare.
And you can kind of see where Drew Beckner's stuff really gets these RedHawks hitters. You saw Evan Applewick take a hack at that one, kind of came out of his shoes, and then ended up just grounding it to the shortstop.
Right.
So that's what the kind of low velocity that Beckner has, but well placed low velocity, of course. But that's what that can kind of do to these RedHawk hitters, and even Zaborowski, who is known for hitting really hard pitches very well.
Yes,
has been kind of fooled up to this point.
Absolutely. As this is Ryan Novak, who's quickly down 0-2 on Beckner, as that's a ball down and away.
Control has been an issue for Beckner this year. We touched on it earlier.
For sure.
Wouldn't be shocked to see some of these RedHawks hitters take a lot of pitches.
Yeah, that
saw Zaborowski work a walk after being down 0-2. So
yeah, and Zaborowski, as I didn't get to say, he advanced to second on that one. So as a result, there is a man in scoring position with 2 strikes, 2 outs, and 2 balls here for Ryan Novak, as that hits him. Hits him on the arm. I couldn't tell which one, but definitely hit him.
Was right arm.
Right arm. Yeah, I was gonna say I think it was his outer arm, his right arm, and so that means there's a man on first and second. We were just talking about control concerns for pitcher Drew Beckner, and those are coming to fruition here once more as there's now men on first and second as a direct result of those command issues. So now you get the catcher David Novak, who's hitting about 273 this season. He's got 1 for 2 today, and you really want him to get something going here. A big extra base hit could potentially send 2 runners home with a nice piece of hitting here if he's able to get a good barrel, as that one is not a good barrel, and that is a foul ball over to the right foul territory, and that makes the count 0-1 here for the RedHawks. You know, as that's a swing and a miss. Big hack for Novak, but obviously I'm not going to say that he's as effective of a pitcher as the man I'm about to mention, but his style reminds me of a Pedro Martinez in the sense that he certainly isn't overpowering, but he's got outstanding command and has a pretty solid feel for his off speed. So that's another foul ball hit weakly over to the first base coach, and yeah, like I said, that does not mean he is a Pedro Martinez by any stretch of the imagination, but that's the kind of style we're talking about here. Kind of dinks and dunks hitters and just never able to really get a good barrel on the ball, it seems, as that ball is well inside, almost hit David Novak, but the Eastern Michigan dugout disagreed with that call.
That was pretty inside.
It was pretty inside from our angle, I would say, for sure. And the count is 1-2 as he winds and fires, and that ball skips in the brown turf, almost said dirt, but we got to remember this is a beautiful turf field at McKie Field at Hayden Park, and as a result, the count is now even 2-2 with men on first and second and 2 outs here. The RedHawks down 7-5. Beckner winds and fires, and that ball gets away from the catcher, and that advances the runners easily second and third. It looks like it almost hit David Novak, but somehow able to avoid it. The count is now full with men on second and third, and an outstanding opportunity here for David Novak to potentially do some damage and
tie this on the right side of the infield.
Tie this up, but he takes a big swing and a miss, and that is going to end the inning. Beckner fired up as he was able to escape that jam, and that is really tough break for the RedHawks. And as a result, it's still 7-5 RedHawks, and boy, that's tough. But well, thank you for listening to Red Hawk Radio. We will be back with you guys in just a minute. We appreciate you listening to us on this beautiful Saturday afternoon. We'll be back in just 1 minute. Welcome back to Red Hawk Radio. I'm Sean Wiesemann here with Jeff Middleton, and very good game here for the Red Hawks, but they're still down 7-5. Top of the 6th inning is the hitter Nathan Ball comes up to the plate. We got a new pitcher. Tell me about him, Jeff.
Yeah, Patrick Mastrian. Usually see him as a starter, but is not being used as a starter today. Redshirt junior, right-handed pitcher out of Indianapolis, Indiana. Standing at 6 foot wing, 195 pounds. Last time out, he pitched 4 innings against Toledo. Allowed 4 hits, only 1 earned run, 2 runs total, 3 walks and no strikeouts. On the season, though, been pretty decent. 5.48 ERA, 1.51 WHIP, 1-3 record in 13 appearances. Started 11 of those games. 47 and 2/3 innings pitched. Has walked 25 batters. That is third most on the team. Again, talking about that control issue for Mastrian. That's been one of his problems. I called a game earlier this year where he walked, I believe, 6 or 7 batters.
So that's a chopper hit to Dylan Baker at shortstop. Should be an easy play, as it is. Barely gets him, though, as he takes his time on that one. And that is the 3rd time this game where we've had some lackadaisical infielding. One turned into disaster, 2 more that almost turned into disaster. And, yeah, Mastrian able to get a quick out there. And like you mentioned, control a little bit of an issue for him, but that 3/4 arm slot, and he's sitting 92, 93 on his fastball pretty consistently, makes it not an easy thing to see. You don't see a lot of 92, 93 up here in the MAC. As he shows bunt, that is Logan Hugo, the center fielder, who's up to bat. He shows bunt on that first pitch, pulls it away, but still a strike for Mastrian. And
you have to wonder, is it the lackadaisical infielding now when Nathan Ball is up, or is it just that he's faster than we think he is?
Maybe he. You know what? I wonder if it's a combination of the two, because it certainly
he's not
feels
built like a guy who's fast.
No, he's not. As that's a second strike there for Mastrian. But no, that's a very good point. Maybe he is just faster than he looks, because he certainly is making these infielders almost pay for some of the lack of focus and urgency there.
Yeah,
as
he's making him work.
Mastrian gets a real swing and a miss. Easy second out there for Mastrian, and boy,
nice pitch.
That is a really nice pitch for Pat Mastrian, the 4th, and that brings up Gianna Zuccaro, the lefty, for the Eagles. Zuccaro, the 4-hole hitter, and he's struggled a little bit today, over 3 with a strikeout. Still leading the team in average with a 367 average, and Mastrian hopes to dispatch him in quick order here, as that's a first pitch that he fires. 93 on that one, a little outside, and makes the count 1-0.
Yeah, far cry from what Nick Vardovas was throwing.
For sure.
Far cry from what Drew Beckner was throwing as well.
It's a change in pace for pretty much all the pitchers that we've seen thus far, pretty much in this entire series. As there aren't a lot of guys. There's some guys with some decent
saw yesterday.
speed.
Olenek was the guy with a lot of power.
Olenek is a guy. Well, when you're 6'11", I'd certainly hope you get some powers. That was count as 1-1. That ball pretty inside. So the count's now 2-1. No, you're right, Jeff. The Olenek definitely. I've called a few of his games because he's typically is a Saturday starter, or rather, they usually have an opener and he's their long inning guy.
That's right.
But so I was intrigued when I checked the box score yesterday and I see Olenek getting used in relief.
He didn't have the best day yesterday, but was still good enough to get
the win.
Get the win. That's right.
That's right. Well, Mastrian is now down 3-1 in the count as he throws a couple balls almost in the dirt on some off speed as he winds and fires. And that's a pitch that Zuccaro knew he needed. It was 77, kind of floated over the middle of the plate. And as a result, the count is full for Gianna Zuccaro against the pitcher Pat Mastrian as he winds and fires, and that is a foul ball. Ricochets off of the chest plate of Novak, who's takes a second.
It's a great pitch, though.
It is a great
Patrick
pitch.
Mastrian, I think one of the most unique things about him is his arm slot. Where
yes,
he throws,
that 3/4 arm slot. You're so right. That really is a very deceiving way to see it. You're not used to it. You're usually used to 12-6, as that's a walk for Pat Mastrian. But yeah, when he's actually commanding his pitches well, it's hard to see where that ball is. It's a unique angle to see where that ball's coming from.
Especially his slider is super dangerous because he brings it from outside, way outside, and it just kind of falls in.
You're right. No, absolutely, it does.
Especially to righty hitters, he can throw it away.
Yep.
It's a good pitch to have.
Well, he wasn't able to get the lefty there, as that's Gianni Zuccaro who he's able to work a walk. So that brings up the righty Lucas Johnson, who's had a really good day of hitting, as he puts his average up to 344 after going 2 for 2 with a walk today. Is Mastrian able to slide a first pitch, off-speed pitch in there for a strike, kind of on the outside part of the plate, but nevertheless still a strike. And yeah, like you said though, that 3/4 arm slot was always, when I played baseball, was always the least favorite thing to see. The kid could be throwing 60 and I'd still get fooled by it, as that's a deep pop-up hit over to the left center. And it looks like McDonald comes flying over from center, but able to make the catch, and that is the final out for Pat Mastrian. What an outstanding range for McDonald, as he probably came over well over 100 feet to go and make that, as they're able to get the final out of the inning. So it is still 7-5 as we head down to the bottom of the 6th inning. Thank you so much for listening to Red Hawk Radio. I'm Sean Wiesemann here at Jeff Middleton. We appreciate you spending your Saturday afternoon with us, and we'll be back here in just a minute. Welcome back to Red Hawk Radio. I'm Sean Wiesemann here at Jeff Middleton, and we have ourselves a real fun game, but the Red Hawks down in the bottom of the 6th, as Eagles have a 7-5 lead with Drew Beckner still out there. He's got about 56 pitches, but been very efficient after giving up a run in the 4th, as Blake Buzzio takes a first pitch ball, a little outside, kind of near the left-handed batter's box.
Big
shift. Down a little bit. Yeah, you weren't kidding. That is a giant shift they're taking, as the shortstop is basically playing in the outfield. The second baseman, Drew Jones, is playing almost where the shortstop usually would be playing. The third baseman playing even with third base bag, and so really pulling here for hoping Buzzio will pull it here, as Buzzio gets the count to 2-1 now against Beckner. Yeah, that first baseman too for the Eagles, as that's a pitch taken low inside rather. First baseman for Hayden Arbogast is playing very far off, kind of a third of the way between second and first, and that is a 5-pitch walk that Buzzio is able to work. So the shift all for naught, because if you're not going to give him something to pitch, kind of makes it impossible for him to hit it into your shift. So good start for the Red Hawks, and you like to see that, especially as Tyler Gordon, the 9-hole, comes up, and so that means on deck is the 1-hole hitter Dylan Baker, and you really hope he can start getting into the meat of the lineup and do some damage on Beckner, who's been very efficient and very effective thus far. Like I mentioned, only 1 earned run is very inside, almost hit Tyler Gordon, makes the count 1-0, and
this is where yesterday Jones had some issues. This is where his issues started, around the 6th, 7th inning.
Yeah.
When he started getting high up there in pitch count. I mean, Beckner's already up there at 60, in the mid-60s.
Yeah, I was going to say about 63 now with that second pitch strike. And Buzzio taking pretty conservative lead with the left-hander Beckner here, as that's a third pitch taken for a strike.
I mean, 60 pitches in 3 innings. That's 3 innings of work.
Yeah, it's not the most efficient outing you can ask for, but nevertheless, he's still doing so in a manner in which he's not allowing very much.
He's not allowing runners across. That's right.
Absolutely. So, as that is a chopper hit to Dylan Jones at second. Oh, but the ball, he throws to second, and that's an out at second, but the flip to second kind of almost got away from the shortstop, so he's able to get the force out at second, but not able to get anybody else. What could have been a good double play ball, but ends up just being 1 out, so that's a fielder's choice for Tyler Gordon, and that brings up Dylan Baker, the junior shortstop, right-hander from who's really looking to get something going here, as he's 1 for 2 today with a walk. That's a first pitch taken low for a ball. Once again, the left-handed presence of Beckner really forcing these runners to be a little more conservative in their approaches, as Beckner has a very clear view of their leads. Although, as I say that, looks like there's as he goes, and that ball is hit off the shift into right field, and that is a single, and going first to third is Tyler Gordon. And once again, going first to third is really hopefully going to pay some dividends here a little later in the inning.
Yeah, good hit and run there.
Absolutely.
By Tyler Gordon and Dylan Baker. Bottom of the lineup and the top of the lineup. Baker and Gordon been kind of the dynamic duo so far this year in terms of contact and speed, rounding out the lineup. So a good play there for sure from Dylan Baker, and a good piece of hitting, good piece of running from Tyler Gordon.
You're right. You love to see that your number one, both guys are compared to the other hitters in the lineup, you know, they're terms of average, not necessarily the best hitters, but you love to see the fact that they've got a combined 4 hits between the two of them at the 9 and 1. So you love to see that, as that's a first pitch taken down. That makes the count 1-0 for men on the corners here, and 1 out. Drew Beckner pitching, and Zach McDonald up to plate as he hits that one to the shortstop, and that is a potential double play ball, but McDonald gets it, beats out the throw, as the ball was not a good, well-thrown ball at all by Drew Jones, the second baseman, and so that actually does get a runner across, and that is an RBI for McDonald, who now, even with a left-hander rather, that certainly means he's got a chance to steal a base potentially. So score is 7-6. RedHawks only down 1 now after the misplay by the first baseman Arbogast, and a really not great throw by Drew Jones as that ball got away from him. And that is a ball hit, easy ball hit to Drew Jones, and that is going to be the final out of the inning, unfortunately. But RedHawks able to push 1 across the board and able to get within 1 of the Eagles, and that makes the game 7-6, as Eagles still in the lead. But regardless, you like to see some offense, and hope that the RedHawks can hold them at bay. And we'll kick it back to my friend Jeff here in the top of the 7th for play-by-play, but I appreciate you listening here on Red Hawk Radio. We'll be back here in just a minute.
Welcome back to Miami Baseball here on Red Hawk Radio. Jeff Middleton, Sean Wiesemann here in Oxford. Miami RedHawks, Eastern Michigan Eagles. Eagles lead this game 7-6 after one run came across for the RedHawks in that bottom of the 6th inning, but nonetheless not able to tie it with men on base. Patrick Mastering back on the mound for the RedHawks, and Hayden Arbogast up to the plate for the Eagles. Arbogast 1 for 2 on the day.
Oh,
Mastering 93 on that pitch, gets him to foul that ball off 1-1 early.
and Arbogast was obviously not ready for 93. He was a little, I mean, he was able to make contact, obviously foul that one off, but he looked like he was taken aback a little bit by just how hard that throw from Mastrian was. And that is an easy 93 that Mastrian throws to. It doesn't look like he's selling out for velocity at all, does it?
No, not at all. Again, another good. I mean, he's very controlled through his delivery, and
it's not some herky jerky windup that he's got that really forces him to put all of his body into it. I mean, he really is like he is.
Yeah, not a lot of extra movement.
Yeah, exactly. Very efficient in his movement, and it shows in his velocity.
Good slider there. Is not able to draw a swing from Arbogast, so the count moves back to even at 2-2. Arbogast also has a walk on the day, along with his 1 hit and 2 plate appearances, or 2 at-bats. So he shoots that one to Baker at shortstop. Baker makes the play.
Great.
Throws it over to field. Throws over to first for Applewick.
Yeah,
that's
great
one out in the inning.
Over by Dylan Baker. It's a routine play, but certainly not an easy one, as you're drifting away from your throwing arm, and it's not easy to make a play like that over in the middle of the field there, but good play for Baker and able to get the out.
Now stepping up is Kyle Schrodel, 2 for 3 on the day after coming in for Blake McCrae. McCrae played yesterday out in right field. And today it is Schrodel, but he has not lost a step. That right field position has been good both days, despite being 2 different players. 2 for 3 on the day, 2 RBIs for Schrodel. Looking to do some damage here against Patrick Mastering. Sees a strike in there for a quick 0-2 count. So 0-2, 1 out on Kyle Schrodel. As he chops that one high to Gordon at third base. Gordon fires, but that's way past Applewick. Schrodel stumbles to first. He's safe. So Schrodel turned around, looking like he was trying to go to second, but as soon as that ball bounced back to Applewick off the gate to the bullpen, he had to stumble back. He ended up making that left turn, and if he was tagged, he would have been out.
For sure been out, yep.
But
Not
he made
quite
it back.
Able to get it back to the catcher, who really good hustle for David Novak, getting up the first baseline for that, but
just a tough play for Gordon at third. Had to deal with that high chopper and just absolutely launch it. Schrodel not a slow player at all. So that one's inside to Drew Jones. But yeah, again, that's just a tough play for Gordon as he launched that ball from third base. Good speed, but not on target. Evan Applewick could not handle it, but luckily the bounce was fortunate as Jones sends that one to Baker at short. Buzzio from second to Applewick at first, and that's a double play.
Wow.
A quick double play to end the inning after the gaff from Gordon and Applewick on the throw across the diamond. No runs for the Eagles as the RedHawks come and try to tie this game in the bottom of the 7th. Glad you could be here with us for this exciting end to this exciting game. My name's Jeff Middleton alongside Sean Wiesemann. We will be back in just a moment here on Red Hawk Radio. Welcome back to Oxford, Ohio. Eastern Michigan Eagles up 7-6 on the Miami RedHawks baseball team. Leading the hits battle 10-9. Miami leading the errors battle 2-1. As Rylan Zaborowski steps into the batter's box after the 7th inning stretch. McKie Field at Hayden Park. Glad you could be with us. Zaborowski 1 for 2 on the day with an RBI and a walk and a strikeout. Done about everything you can at the plate. Drew Beckner back on the mound, sitting at around 70 pitches.
Yeah, he's been efficient, able to eat up some innings for the Eagles, only giving up a couple runs in his 4 innings or so.
As Zaborowski shoots that one into center field. That one's going back off the wall.
Wow.
That will be extra bases.
Well, the center fielder, Hugo, sincerely thought that was gone, and so he just tried to let it go, and instead it would, a gust of wind or something must have knocked that one down because it was about 2 feet higher, and it's gone. That's a mistake there from Logan Hugo, though, because he actually looked like he had a little bit of a beat on that ball, but he let it go because I think he thought it was going to be a home run.
So a rocket off the bat of Rylan Zaborowski puts Evan Applewick into an advantageous position at the plate. Now a runner in scoring position. An absolute bullet that hit off the wall in center field.
Yeah, you could not ask for a better barrel there from Zaborowski. And
gonna have to go ask my buddy Drew how hard that one was hit.
That one in that Applewick home run earlier today. Goodness gracious.
And that ball gets away from the catcher, Johnson, so Ryland will move to third base.
And this is the exact kind of of scenario that lines up perfectly for the RedHawks now. You get yourself a leadoff double, get yourself a wild pitch, and so seriously, it's just put the barrel on the ball, Evan, and you get yourself an RBI. It really is that simple.
So after the long double from Zaborowski, the ball gets away from Johnson behind the plate, and Zaborowski moves to third as the count moves to 3-0 on Applewick.
I've noticed too that they are not shifting really for Applewick at all this time around. They're only shading. I mean, they're shading left a little bit, but certainly not as much as they've been in previous at bats.
Applewick sees that one in for a strike, so 3-1 here. And again, this is what we talked about. These pitchers that have been brought in after the so-called openers have pitched a long time, and the number of pitches gets high, and the RedHawks end up taking advantage as Applewick works a walk on an inside ball. And that brings up the freshman Ryan Novak.
That's a 5-pitch walk worked right there. Really good job. Good job to not get too excited about the guy at third, Evan Applewick, and stay disciplined and not chase anything, especially because those were all sitting inside, so he would have been jammed up a little bit.
There is action in the bullpen, and there will be a meeting on the mound as runners are on the corners for Miami, with Ryan Novak up at the plate and David Novak on deck. A couple of pitchers up for the Eagles. It's the Jeopardy song.
Absolutely.
Plays over the loudspeaker here, waiting for this mound visit to be done. Home field advantage, right, Sean?
Absolutely. It's one of the good things about playing such a nice stadium in general. You get to blare from the loudspeakers the Jeopardy theme song
Yesterday we got to hear some Let It Be as well after Trey Keel stole second, so that was a fun one. But yeah, nonetheless, it's a pretty great ballpark, I will say.
Absolutely.
Good venue to come watch a game at.
Absolutely. I can't think of a better venue in the Mid-American than this one right here. I mean, this is seriously about as beautiful of a field as you can ask for.
Great facilities. Jay Hayden Baseball Center is beautiful inside and out.
Yeah, and you get great fans. Consistently, fans will come out to these baseball games.
Especially now that the weather's nice.
Absolutely, yeah. So you get some really good atmosphere here at McKie Field at Hayden Park.
So the mound visit ends, and a strike is thrown against Ryan Novak. So he's down 0-1 against Drew Beckner, now sitting in the high 70s in his pitch count. 5 hits allowed, 2 earned runs, 3 walks, and 3 strikeouts. As that's another strike dealt to Novak with runners on the corners.
Novak, if I'm Novak, I am kicking myself for that one because that was right down the middle. That is about as good of a ball to barrel as you can have.
The 0-2. Novak shoots that one back up the middle. Shortstop Vance has
wow.
problem with it, and that'll drive in a run.
Wow. That is about as lucky of an opportunity as you can have right there, and you really hope the RedHawks can continue to take advantage of the misplay there by, was that the shortstop?
Yes, Cooper Vance.
I couldn't tell from.
Cooper Vance did not have a beat on that ball. He was able to block it from going into the outfield, but was not able to field it. So Ryan Novak makes it to first base safely. Evan Applewick to second base safely. Zaborowski crosses the plate, and we are tied once again.
And Novak got an absolute barrel on that one.
Yes, he did.
Which is why Vance had a hard time corralling it, because he had to kind of dive away from his glove side to try to make that play, and man, he couldn't corral it, and as a result, you get the runner score in a tie ball game here. And the Rally RedHawks are certainly coming through once again as coming down from 7 to 5, tie the game here with a chance with no outs and meant on first and second to do some more damage here.
David Novak up at the plate.
Beckner really scared, I think, at this point. I mean, that is a 5-pitch walk he had on Applewick. This is 3 pitches in a row that he's thrown that have been
3-0 count.
Yeah,
that'll be dealt for a strike, but
yeah, he's not consistently seeing the strike zone, or he is certainly trying to pitch around some guys here.
Line scores are the same for both teams: 7 runs, 10 hits, and 2 errors for both squads. As Novak sees that one in for a second strike to move the count full with no outs here in the bottom of the 7th.
I mean, this is an opportunity here, even if he just gets a fly ball, to potentially advance some runners here and get an even better position for people behind him.
He takes a swing and misses at that one. That's Novak's second strikeout of the day, and it comes in another big spot. And he is not happy with himself as he walks head down to the dugout. Now it gives the chance to Blake Buzzio to drive in another run and potentially give his team the lead.
Yeah, Buzzio worked a walk, struck out over 2 today, so hopefully he can make something happen, get his first hit of the day here.
Sees that one in for a strike. So after a little bit of a bump in the road for Beckner, he's kind of found his stride here. Beckner deals the 0-1, but that ball gets away from Johnson, and the runners will advance again. So another ball that gets away from the catcher for Eastern Michigan, and now both runners are in scoring position once again.
And with 1 out here and a 1-1 count, you're certainly setting yourself up well if you're Blake Buzzio to really square one up and send a couple guys home here.
Buzzio fouls that one towards the Miami dugout.
Tad early on that, because I could tell that one was kind of over the middle of the plate, but like I said, just 76 miles an hour. I don't think he was expecting that one to be off speed.
1-2 on Buzzio with 1 out, 2 men on. And he chops that one again over to the Miami dugout. A big spot here for the junior. The 1-2 again. Sees that one low, and Johnson's able to block it, so moves to 2-2.
Johnson lucky he was able to block that one, because if that one gets away from him, at least 1 run scores there. And that very good job, very good block there, because yeah, Beckner starting to lose his control a little bit here.
The 2-2 to Buzzio, and that hits him. He will be awarded first base on the hit by pitch. You said it, Sean, kind of losing his control, and we see it right there.
This is eerily similar to a game, that game yesterday you were talking about how the control really started to get away from the pitcher for Eastern Michigan late in the game after a really strong start. And with bases loaded here, boy, you are asking for some real damage, as Tyler Gordon, Dylan Baker, and Zach McDonald are your next 3 hitters here up with only 1 out.
And if there's a guy that you want up at the plate right now, it's Tyler Gordon,
Absolutely.
the number 9 hitter.
He is
2 for 3 on the day with an RBI.
Yeah, he is hitting very well. Oh,
as he smacks that one to the first baseman.
Oh,
he's safe! He's safe at first base.
Wow, what hustle
And that was, I think he's safe. They're probably going to take a review at this. I wouldn't be shocked if they take a look at this, but I think he's safe. I think he beat the pitcher to first base.
Tyler Gordon gets his hands through on an inside pitch, a slow roller to the first baseman Arbogast, and the pitcher Beckner had to cover, but Tyler Gordon beats it out with his speed, and the Miami RedHawks take an 8-7 lead here in the bottom of the seventh inning.
I was wondering why Robbie Britt hadn't decided that he wanted to talk about something yet, because I was going to say, even if he doesn't want to review this, I'm surprised Beckner's still out there with bases loaded at 92 pitches with only one out here.
We will see who comes in for the Eagles. But as of right now, the Miami RedHawks are up 8-7, having come back down from a 7-5 deficit. A big inning for the offense as number 40 for Eastern Michigan will come in to pitch. That is Isaiah Lindsay, who's actually not listed on our sheet, having just taken a look. But we will have more information on Lindsay. And when we come back, RedHawks up 8-7 in the bottom of the seventh. They take an 8-7 lead the hits battle 11-10. With the bases still loaded, one out here in the bottom of the seventh. We will be right back with new information on this Eagles pitcher. We're back in Oxford. Bases loaded for Dylan Baker, the shortstop. New pitcher on the mound for the Eagles. It is Isaiah Lindsay, number 40. Tell him about us. Tell us about him. Excuse me, Sean.
No, it's all right. So right-handed pitcher, 6'3", 220, a senior from Unica, Michigan. He's played at a couple different places. Played at Lake Michigan College, and he was pretty solid there. Not a guy who allows a lot of home runs either at Lansing Community College. Played there as well. Also only allowed a single home run. So certainly somebody who can keep the ball in the yard, but he has struggled mightily this season with a 9.40 ERA.
Lindsay, 6'3", 220 pounds, a senior from Unica, Michigan. Last time out was against Oakland, the game that they played before they came to Oxford.
And I'll tell you, this is not a good spot for a high leverage. He does not seem like the high leverage guy you'd want out there, because Lindsay has given up runs in 13 of his 15 appearances this season, and this certainly doesn't line up well, though, although he has got them up ahead 1-0-2 here.
Baker just reaches out and fouls that one away to stay alive in this 0-2 count with one out. Yeah, Lindsay last time out was against Oakland. 4 innings pitched, 7 hits allowed, 4 earned runs allowed, 3 walks and 2 strikeouts.
Yeah, and he's one of their primary relievers. He's got 29 2/3 innings. But
as Baker shoots that one to center field, Hugo going back. He makes the grab, but that'll be good enough to score a run.
Oh,
and the ball gets away from him. He's hurt. Hugo is hurt in center field. Buzzio is coming around to score. But Hugo is hurt out on the warning track in center field, and you have to wonder if he's okay, as his outfield partners are
slammed into the left center field wall. And boy, he I don't know if he actually had the ball or not.
He did make the catch.
He did? Because,
yes, he did make the catch. So
because
Baker is
he had
out.
To roll it. He had to get up and roll it to his left fielder, to the left fielder. That is Gianno Zuccaro. They had to roll it to him as, oh my goodness. Yeah, he slammed his shoulder hard into that. Heck of a catch, though, you got to say. But with 2 outs, that is an outstanding barrel. That's about as good as you can ask for from Dylan Baker, short of a home run.
So Dylan Baker with the sacrifice fly, and as Hugo is tended to by the trainers, hope he's all right out there. There were multiple runs that scored.
Yeah, you don't see that very often on a sac fly, multiple RBIs on a sac fly, but regardless, you will take it because he hit it that far and that hard.
So the score is now 10-7 in favor of the RedHawks, but the concern is Hugo out in center field. Logan Hugo has been very strong defensively, put his body on the line for that catch and paid a price as he is helped up by the trainer.
It's good.
Looks to be okay.
Good to see that he's at least up on his feet here, because boy, that was a tumble that he took when he crashed into that wall. And it looks like the training staff is going to walk out. Or, yeah, appears as though there's some people going to walk out to check on him. I sincerely do wonder if his head is okay, considering how hard he slammed into it. I wonder if, yeah, I really hope that nothing like that happened.
So he is walking under his own power,
Which is very good news. Love to
putting
see that.
on his hat as the group disperses in deep left center field right in front of the wall. We'll see whether or not he stays in the game. It doesn't look like there's anybody coming out to replace him.
No, I think he's staying, which
Yep,
testament to his toughness there, because boy, he was laid out there for a second.
it appears that he will be staying in the game.
Yeah, wow.
So 10-7 is our score now. After that play was made and runners came across to score, Blake Buzzio was the final one, slid in head first, thinking the ball was being thrown in.
Yeah.
And now it is Zach McDonald up to the plate after that scary play at the wall. Glad to see that Logan Hugo will be okay and is willing to stay in this game. So we get back to the action now that Miami has added to their lead. 10-7 hits are 11-10.
I was hoping I wouldn't have jinxed something, Jeff, by saying the words Rally RedHawks, but boy, they are certainly putting the heat and the pressure back on the Eagles to try to make some plays when the order turns back over, because boy, they are hitting their socks off right now.
It's just been kind of the series so far. Just
Yeah.
a lot of runs scored both ways. As there is a man on second base. That is Tyler Gordon, who did not get a chance to advance any further on the play as the ball was being thrown in by the left fielder. As McDonald shoots that one right at the shortstop Vamps, and that will end the inning. So 4 runs for the RedHawks scored in the bottom of the 7th. They take a 10-7 lead on a Dylan Baker sacrifice fly that scored more than one. And they head into the top of the 8th. Patrick Masherin coming back out onto the mound for the RedHawks. We will be right back with you on Red Hawk Radio. Thanks for listening and tuning in. We will see you in just a moment. back here in Oxford as the Miami RedHawks took a 10-7 lead in the bottom of the 7th inning, and the Eastern Michigan Eagles trying to do some damage here and cut that lead down against Patrick Mastrian, who so far has been very strong on the mound since coming in relief for Nick Vardavas. As he deals in that first pitch strike at 87 miles an hour to start the top of the 8th. Glenn Miller, the third baseman, 2 for 3 today with 4 RBIs.
Well, I'll tell you, it certainly isn't the offense that's been the problem for Eastern Michigan today. It's just they had a couple really bad innings. Their first and their 7th innings have given up 8 of their 10 runs that they've allowed.
Mastrian deals the 1-1. Just slowing away.
Boy, that ball just zips out of his arm, doesn't it?
It sure does.
You know, there's other guys who will throw 89, but it does not quite look as fast as it looks coming out of his arm. Very live arm that he has.
The 2-1. That's dealt high, 3-1 on Miller. Miller hitting .242 on the season with 11 RBIs. 4 on the day today.
Yeah, he's had a really good game. Hitting from that 9-hole spot is...
Miller sees that one go inside, and he works a walk. And the lineup will turn over for Cooper Vamps, who ended the inning catching that line drive off the bat of Zach McDonald, who has been uncharacteristically quiet today.
Like I was telling you earlier in the broadcast.
Good place in the field, of course.
Yeah, absolutely. But, yeah, just McDonald's somebody who, boy, when he's going, that offense just does not stop humming.
Yep.
And even without him, the fact that they are still scoring 10 runs with him having a pretty poor day, offensively at least, that tells you just how deep this Miami lineup is.
So Cooper Vamps, 1 for 4 on the day against Patrick Mastrian. Mastrian allowed 2 walks already. Only 1 hit and 1 strikeout as well. As he throws a strike in there at 77. To go up 0-1 after a pickoff attempt at first.
Miller, another one of the many transfers, who's over there at first base.
Mastrian generates a check swing there, but he did go around. Great pitch, a 75-mile-per-hour slider.
Absolutely. Well, I was just saying that Miller, one of the many transfers on this team that he was able to pull in, that Robbie Britt, the head coach, able to pull in. He's a guy from Spring Arbor, Michigan.
The 0-2, strike 3 called.
Wow. Looking, too. That was beautiful, 90 miles an hour.
Second strikeout of the day for Patrick Mastrian. He gets Cooper Vamps, who is now 1 for 5 after that strikeout looking. And now it's Nathan Ball. 0 for 3 on the day, 1 walk. The man on first base, it's Glenn Miller. Mastrian deals outside. Novak tried to frame it, but it was not successful.
Yeah, I'll tell you.
Yeah, I could tell from back here. It was not going to be called a strike.
No. I'll tell you, though, Ball is certainly earning himself some more playing time. He has only played about 15 games this season, but...
He grounds that one to Baker at short. Baker gives over to Buzzio. Quick play to second, but no play to first, so that'll just get 1 out as Ball reaches on a fielder's choice.
Nifty glove work there from Dylan Baker as he was able to make that very quick flip over to the second baseman, Blake Buzzio, who obviously wasn't able to make the throw over, but the fact that they were even able to get the lead runner, very good stuff, and able to get it down to 2 outs here.
You know, it's interesting that this Miami team, earlier in the season, you'd see Tyler Gordon at second, right. Zaborowski at third,
but this
and then Baker is still at short. But you have Zaborowski now in left field. Our Anthony Zarlingo not playing as of today, and yesterday he did not play either.
Yeah, he isn't. He's kind of out of the lineup the last few weeks. Haven't really.
But it's a different look, and with Zaborowski's arm in the outfield, it gives you a completely. I mean, Zaborowski and McDonald and Ryan Novak. That's a fantastic outfield 3.
For sure.
As that one's dealt outside 1-1.
And I will say too that because Zaborowski isn't the most fleet of foot, by having McDonald in center field, he's able to cover up more of the range that he might lack than Zaborowski might have at third.
the 1-1.
So I think
It's
that
low for a ball.
this defensive alignment has been more impressive to me over the last few weeks than the one that they started to roll out at the beginning of this season. And I think Brian Smiley, the head coach for the RedHawks, is really starting to find his groove here with how he wants to set things up defensively, and it's looking a lot better.
And of course, there are a lot of guys that can play in different positions.
For sure.
Trey Keels is one of them. We saw him
He'll play
take
corner
over left
infield.
field
Yeah, he'll play corner
yesterday
infield pretty
when
frequently.
he pinch ran for Evan Applewig.
Yeah.
Zaborowski moved over to first, and
Yeah, you have Zarlingo, who can play outfield. You have Dom Maglioka, who's gotten to play about a dozen times this year. He's also somebody. Gorski, the infielder, he's gotten some. Garrison Barreal, even the outfielder. I mean, they've got a bunch of different guys who definitely they feel comfortable giving some spot starts to in certain positions.
but this defensive alignment, this left side of the infield in particular, Gordon and Baker have had their fair share of plays this series so far, and they've done nothing but make good plays. Tyler Gordon, a couple of errors as that one's grounded to him, but not able to get it as he dives a high chop over his glove. So the runner moves first to third on the base hit from Logan Hugo. Or apologies, that is not Logan Hugo. Logan Hugo is up now, as he is clearly okay. That was a base hit from Logan Hugo, so he's clearly doing all right.
Yes, that's good to see that he's able to not only just walk, but he's able to make the jog over to first base. There's still 2 outs though for Mastery, and he's able to get himself out of this inning. Not helping himself though with putting these runners on.
Yeah, runners on the corner. It is Nathan Ball at third and Hugo at first after that high chopping single that ended up going over Gordon's glove on the dive. But again, like we were saying, Tyler Gordon's he's made a couple of errant throws, but it's been on plays that are not as favorable to the fielder.
No, definitely
the one he made
not.
over to Applewig that ended up going back to the gate was one where he was kind of running away and just kind of had to turn and hurl it in that general direction.
No, you're exactly right. At third base, because that throw is obviously the longest throw you can make in the infield, he's already at a disadvantage, and he's got a pretty solid arm, but certainly that puts him at a the fact that all these plays have been really difficult plays he's had to make, and he's had to try to rifle it over as quickly as he can, that's forced some kind of errant throws and stuff like that.
Especially when, Zaborowski has that arm, but he's not as great of a fielder as you might think.
Not as nimble. He's
still he's still, the arm is what separates him from a lot of third basemen. I mean, there's been a couple plays that, in games that I've done.
That's
right,
for sure.
yeah, there's been a couple plays in games that I've done where he's kind of taken the time and it just explodes out of his glove. It's been he's fun to watch at third, but yesterday he almost, that one's grounded to Applewig at first, and that will end the inning.
Beautiful.
Like we were saying, Zaborowski yesterday he had a huge cutoff throw that prevented the Eagles from scoring a run, and that was a difference maker. But nonetheless, the RedHawks defense gets it done as that one's grounded to Evan Applewig at first to end the inning for Patrick Mastering on the mound. RedHawks bats coming back up in the bottom of the 8th inning. Jeff Middleton alongside Sean Wiesemann. Glad you could be here with us. Stay tuned. back here in Oxford, Ohio for Miami Baseball as we get set for the bottom of the 8th inning. Ty Badicic coming back up to the plate for his 5th time. He's 1 for 4 on the day. On the mound is still Isaiah Lindsay, only sitting at 6 pitches. Very efficient.
I was gonna say, that's about as efficient as it gets.
So we have a problem with
Yep.
the glove of Johnson, or
It looks
might be
maybe
the
his pitch
might be
comm.
the might be the pitch, whatever he has to use with Lindsay on the mound to communicate.
Well, I'll tell you, the way this offense sets up for more damage that could potentially be done. When you get Badicic, Zaborowski, and Applewick, you certainly are looking to 3, 4, and 5. That is certainly a very good heart of the lineup that can do some more damage against a pretty inconsistent pitcher in Isaiah Lindsay.
Whoa, Badicic swings out of his shoes on that 74-mile-per-hour curveball. An absolute daddy hack.
Yes,
that one was.
Yes, he was either going to take that one yard or he was going to
Swing
die
and-
trying.
That's right. Much more controlled swing on that one. Ends up fouling it away. Quickly down 0-2, though. So up for the Redhawks this inning will be Badicic, Zaborowski, and Applewick at minimum. As the Redhawks are up 10-7 here in the bottom of the 8th. Glad you're with us as we enter the final stages of the second game of the 3-game MAC series. Badicic sends that one right back to where it came from, but the shortstop Vance plays it over to first and gets the out. So first out of the inning on a routine ground ball for Badicic. Cooper Vamps makes the play. And now it's Rylan Zaborowski, the man we were talking about, who has a great arm in the field and a great bat at the plate.
Absolutely.
Steps
Yeah,
in 2 for 3, on the day. 1 RBI, 1 walk, and 1 strikeout.
He's done some damage today to this Eagles pitching staff, and hopefully he can continue to do some damage because we don't want Isaiah Lindsay to throw 10 pitches an inning. We want to work him out of here. Ooh, laid off that one.
Zaborowski was not a fan of that pitch being called a strike, but he's down 0-2 either way to Isaiah Lindsay. Interesting to see how he adjusts here. That one's low for a ball, but when we saw against Beckner, he was kind of thrown off with the lack of velocity, I guess you could say, or more of the movement. I mean, he drew a lot of swings and misses.
Yeah.
See how he does against Lindsay here in a 1-2 count. Takes that one low to
Same
even the
pitch.
count at 2-2. Yeah,
Yeah.
same pitch that did not draw even the check swing.
Nope.
Good plate discipline there.
Yeah, that's Zaborowski. Obviously, he does strike out a decent amount, but that's also just comes with some of the power
So
that you get.
that's a power hitter right
yeah,
there.
but certainly still pretty disciplined.
The
And
2-2 hits him.
Wow. Just right
The
on that-
2-2 hits him on the
right
right
elbow
leg.
guard. Oh, looked
Was
like
it the- was
looked
it the
like
elbow guard?
Yeah, it looked like it ricocheted off the elbow guard because he didn't flinch at all as soon as it hit him.
Either way,
Regardless of hit
I
by
would say
pitch,
regardless,
yeah.
Zaborowski.
He'll take it.
Zaborowski, now you can say that he's done about everything at the plate.
Basically, yep.
Hit by a pitch, a regular walk, an RBI, 2 for 3. He's doing it all today.
Yes, he is, and he's helping this RedHawks offense hum.
And there will be a pinch runner. Trey Keels is coming in for
That
Zaborowski.
makes sense because then you'll have Keels play. Keels likely then will play left field for Zaborowski, and Keels not much of a hitter, only a 186 hitter, but certainly can run and has 3 steals on the season despite not playing a ton of baseball for the RedHawks.
Saw him come in yesterday in the
Yeah, he scored a
And
run yesterday.
as a pinch runner, and he ended up stealing second base, and then ended up getting a walk again, and then jogged home on the David Novak home run.
Well, I can tell you that Isaiah Lindsay certainly knows that information because he took a very hard look over for a second at Trey Keels before ultimately winding and firing.
Evan Applewick up at the plate, 1-0 on him with 1 out. Keels takes a lead off first. Applewick shoots that one high but foul and out of play.
And that's interesting, too, if he's able to straighten that out just a tad, that everybody else is shifted left. in the outfield especially, that center fielder is playing about 6 steps left, as is the right fielder and the left fielder. So if he's able
to the center fielder's right, our
right,
left.
yeah,
yes.
our left.
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you for clarifying.
Yeah, yes.
Because if he hits it over that in the right field, anywhere remotely in right field, there's a pretty good
That's
chance
right.
it
That
falls.
right field gap is wide open
It is
for
wide
him.
open because that second baseman is also shaded over pretty far. Drew Jones is shaded almost about 4 steps away from second base.
So Applewick, after fouling off a second pitch, goes down 1-2. Keels on first. Lindsey taking his time. He throws it in the dirt. Nothing doing there for Keels on first, though, as Johnson's able to block it behind the plate.
Yeah, I'll tell you, I know Johnson's let up a couple wild pitches today, but he has also had his hands full in terms of the amount of balls that have been spiked into the dirt.
Yep.
He's definitely had to wrestle a lot more of those than his counterpart for the RedHawks, David Novak, has had to worry about. So that's kind of an unfortunate part of being a catcher, is that kind of stuff doesn't show up necessarily as much on the stat sheet. The fact it just shows up that you gave up those wild pitches.
Check back on Keels at first, but he wasn't even off the bag.
I was say Keels was that was not a good pickoff move. Keels wasn't even off.
Lindsey is interesting in the way he works as Keels goes. That's fouled by Applewick. Yeah, another attempt at a hit and run, but it's interesting. Lindsey is really working down this pitch clock. He will come set and then stand in his set for about 5 to 7 seconds.
Yep.
He'll do a couple of head nods, look back at the runner. He takes his sweet old time coming from his set position
I
to
like
his
the way
windup.
he almost does a squat every single time he tries to every time he sets up.
Applewick
Wow.
shoots that into the left center gap.
Ah.
Going,
Oh!
and he missed the catch. The left fielder missed the catch as Keels is winding his way around the bases. He will come home to score, sliding headfirst into home plate.
Here we go.
As the left fielder Gianna Zuccaro made an heroic dive, but was not able to come up with the ball.
Was he close though? Holy cow! Goodness gracious, Zuccaro! I'm not even.
Be
kidding,
interested
was
to see how they
inches.
score that.
Yeah,
I don't think it could be an error, but who knows? Errors are very subjective.
That's true. I don't think that was an error. I think they're ruling it a hit, I believe.
Yes.
So, as they should, because, boy, if Zuccaro makes that catch, he is the hero. But if he doesn't, I can't say I blame him because, boy, he laid out, and I seriously think he was within inches of making that catch.
He was. I mean, it was in his glove.
It was darn near. Yeah, it was. That was very impressive. Very impressive that he was even able to get close to it.
So a rocket double off the bat of Applewick and out of the glove of Gianna Zuccaro in left field brings Trey Keels all the way around from first to score, puts the RedHawks up 11-7, and there will be a new man on the mound for the Eagles, and we will have more information on him when we come back. You're listening to Miami Baseball on Red Hawk Radio. New man on the mound for the Eagles is Jack Topolsky, the freshman from Seven Hills, Ohio, 6'2", 210 pounds. What you got on him, Sean?
Well, Topolsky is a guy who's really, really struggled in his appearances. He's got a 25.20 ERA in 5 innings pitched. Really struggles with command with 8 walks, 4 wild pitches, 2 hit-by pitches, and only 4 strikeouts. So they're certainly hoping he can clean up his. And that's all in only about 5 innings. So that gives you an idea of how he's performed this season. And guy who actually from the Cincinnati area, Seven Hills, and not Cincinnati area, Cleveland area rather, and went to Holy Name, where he earned 3 letters there.
So in the batter's box is Ryan Novak, 2-0 on him. Man at second is Evan Applewick after the double. Last time out for Topolsky was against Oakland. It was his second longest outing and also his second worst outing on the mound. Pitched an inning and 2/3. Allowed 3 hits, 5 runs, 1 walk, and 0 strikeouts. His worst outing was against Morehead State back in March. 7 hits, 5 runs, 3 earned runs, 3 walks, and 3 strikeouts in 2 innings. So not a guy that has seen a lot of action, and the action he has saw it has not been great. The action he has seen, I should say,
right,
has not been great.
The journalist and you really making
the
sure.
Yes, I can't do that anymore. I can't say things the wrong way. It's just drilled into my brain. So Novak works a walk.
Well, right on brand for with the way that Topolsky has played this season. Guys really struggle with walks.
So 2 men on for David Novak, the hero of the bottom of the 8th inning last time out, which was yesterday. And now he has a chance to add to the RedHawks lead, currently sitting at 11-7.
A chance to expand it, though, with only 1 out here. And men on first and second is, boy, he cannot locate his off-speed to save his life right now.
He's thrown a lot of curveballs, thrown 6 pitches. Most of them have been curveballs, but a lot of them have been in the dirt and not generating any swings and misses.
And I'm sure that the RedHawks dugout has at least some idea that that's exactly how they should be approaching him. Is they let him throw you strike, because he certainly seems like he's not entirely capable of consistently doing that.
There's an off-speed pitch that generates a swing and miss for the first swing and miss of his outing. 1-1 with 1 out here in the bottom of the 8th. Novak sees another curveball in the dirt, does not bite.
Spiking. He's just spiking these every time, about 5 feet in front of the hitter, basically every single time he throws that curve.
Wind is headed out to center field, so if there is some sort of power, could see that be an effect. 2-1 is dealt in for a strike on the outside corner.
That's his best pitch yet to this outing. He's able to locate that well in the outside part of the plate.
The 2-2. Novak shoots that one to the shortstop. Vamps over to Jones at second. Play to first. He is out for the double play. So a run does score in the bottom of the 8th inning thanks to an Evan Applewick double off the glove of Zuccaro out in left field. But no more damage is done as David Novak grounds into a double play to end the inning, and Jack Topolsky comes in relief and finishes the job. As we move in to the top of the 9th, Patrick Mastrine back on the mound trying to win this game for the RedHawks. We will be right back with you after this break. Stay with us. 3 outs remaining for the Eastern Michigan Eagles to try and salvage this game, down 11-7 to the Miami RedHawks. Patrick Mastrian back on the mound. We do have some defensive changes. Well, one defensive change, I should say. Trey Keels came in and pinch ran for Rylan Zaborowski, who was playing left field. But Keels is not out in left field. Instead, it's Dom Magliocca playing out there. Saw Keels come in yesterday and play the field after pinch running, but
yeah, he's a solid fielder, very solid fielder. I mean, that's why it's interesting they got Magliocca out there.
first pitch of the inning is dealt in for a strike by Mastrian. And Magliocca, a junior from Canfield, Ohio, as that one's grounded to Tyler Gordon at third. Fires over to Applewick at first for the first out of the inning. That was Lucas Johnson, the catcher, that was up first. Now it's Aiden Arbogast, the first baseman, and up next Kyle Schrodel, the right fielder. Again, Magliocca, again, not an everyday player, 5'10", 180 in the outfield. Good speed, strong defensively as well. That's what they use him for the most part. Yep. Last time out he played against was against Toledo. Only went 0 for 1.
Yeah, not really a hitter though. He doesn't have a hit this season, but very strong defensively.
This is quickly 0-2. Mastrian working well here. Yeah, Magliocca does not have a hit so far this year. Mastrian deals the 0-2 low to Arbogast. Arbogast 1 for 3 on the day, averaging .333 on the season, has a walk as well. Mastrian deals way outside to even the count at 2-2 with 1 out here in the top of the 9th. Redhawks got a run in the bottom of the 8th inning off of a heroic diving play that was unsuccessful by Giuliano Zuccaro. An absolute rocket off the bat of Applewick as Mastrian gets a swing and a miss from Arbogast, and there is 2 outs on the swinging strikeout. That is Mastrian's third strikeout of the day.
Yeah, beautiful pitch from Mastrian. That was about as good of a pitch as you could ask for. Really put it right out of the way. No hitter was gonna get a piece of that one. Goodness.
Mastrian allowed only 2 hits today, 2 walks, 3 strikeouts.
Yeah, he's been very efficient. Come up and put donuts out on the scoreboard there.
Mastrian's count still sitting at 50, probably a little too high for his liking, but nonetheless working well. As that one is shot into the left center field gap. Magliocca going, but is not able to get there, and it hits the wall. McDonald gets it, grabs it, but he fumbles it. He throws it into the cutoff man, but Schrodel's able to get in there with a triple. So hard contact made, sent out to the left center field gap, ends up banking off the wall. McDonald not able to handle it cleanly.
Yeah, he got a handful. I can tell he got a handful of dirt on that one.
And that gives Schrodel the chance.
Fly away as soon as he grabbed that ball.
Yeah, that gave Schrodel the chance to move to third. Slid in there just in case, but nonetheless. So a man on third, 2 outs remaining, 2 outs in the top of the 9th, excuse me. It's been a long game, Sean. Lots of runs, lots of score. Which I'll take that, to be honest. I will take lots of runs.
I can appreciate a good pitcher's duel, but I can also appreciate some good offense.
That's right. Certainly agree with that. 0-1 count here on Drew Jones, who's 1 for 3 on the day. Now it's 0-2. Saw Mastrian get up 0-2 early, but was not able to close out.
Absolutely, and down to their final pitch, you really gotta square one up here if you want to keep yourself in this game.
Jones 1 for 3 today with an RBI. Mastrian deals. Swing and a miss for strike 2. Guess they changed that 0-2. It was 1-1 according to home plate umpire Mike Martin. They said he was 1-1 on the scoreboard. It was 0-2, so that is not game over.
Okay. Well,
we'll do it again. 1-2.
I was gonna say, just have Mastrian put him away this time.
Mastrian deals. That one sent to shortstop. Baker's got a tough play. He throws, but he's not able to get the speedy Jones heading down the first baseline. He's safe, and the run will score. That's
Tough play.
11-8 now for Miami. Yeah, tough play over for Baker. It's short. Just you got a fast runner in Jones and a well-placed hit to the left side of the infield. That was Kyle Schrodel coming in across home plate, so another RBI for Jones on the day. Looks like we will have a pinch hitter here for the Eagles. Logan Malini pinch hitting today for Glenn Miller, the third baseman.
It was 1 for 1 yesterday.
Yeah, he had a big hit yesterday coming in as a pinch hitter as well.
Hitting 158 overall this season.
273 on base, 263 slugging, OPS of 536, so overall not a great hitter at the plate. Mastrian deals that one just outside for a ball. It's interesting, I don't think that Malini, if what his stats are telling me is true, I don't think he has seen a left-handed pitcher.
I don't think he has. I think you might be right.
Jones goes. Novak does not throw from behind home plate. So a free bag for Jones, going from first to second, now in scoring position for Malini.
Mastrian's just got to focus in here on the batter.
Yeah, don't worry about the runner at this point. Not worth it.
Not worth the trouble.
It is 2-0 on Malini, though. 2 outs. Mastrian deals a strike right down the middle. 92 miles an hour, 2-1 on the pinch hitting Malini.
He really wanted to make sure that was going to be right down the middle. He went 92. That tells me that he was very determined to get that down as a strike.
Looks like we're going to have a little meeting here between Novak and Mastrian. A brief one, as Novak now trots back to behind home plate, wondering if it was just a pitch comm issue or just a you should throw this pitch again type of issue or whatever. Could be something of the sort. Nonetheless, 2-1 count, 2 outs, Mastrian deals. That one's shot and will be a base hit into right field. Jones does not round third. He does not come home, I should say. He rounds third, looking to come home, but does not.
It's a good throw from Ryan Novak.
Yes,
from
big
right
throw.
field to make sure that there wasn't even a chance for a play at home.
So the lineup turns over for Cooper Vamps, and again, a second day in a row that in the top of the 9th inning, the pitcher on the mound struggles to get the final 3 outs.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. Mastrian lights out otherwise, but
yeah, no, Olenek, you can kind of say it's a little bit different because Olenek came in cold. He was brought in for a save-esque situation. It wouldn't have counted as a save, but
we're going to have a quick meeting here.
Looks like pitching coach Larry Scully's going to take his time to get out to the mound.
Absolutely.
But, you know, again, Mastrian's had a few innings to work with here, and in those innings he's looked very strong. Olenek yesterday came in kind of cold. Didn't have any innings before that, any game innings, I should say, before that to work with. So you could kind of understand the struggles. Ended up getting out of it, of course, so good news nonetheless. But now you're in trouble as the tying run is at the plate, and it's Cooper Vamps. Spelled V-A-M-C-E. I've never seen that before.
Can't say I have either.
That'll be the end of the day for Patrick Mastrian as Coach Scully is going to the bullpen for the final out of this game. It'll be Carson Byers taking the mound, and we'll have more information for you listening when we come back after he's done warming up. So the RedHawks only need 1 out to finish this game and win the series, and they will put the ball in the hands of Carson Byers to do so. You're listening to Miami Baseball on Red Hawk Radio. Stay with us. So Carson Byers on the mound to get this final out of the game. Coming in relief for Patrick Mastrian. Cooper Vamps at the plate, leadoff hitter for these Eagles. As Byers deals high and outside for ball one. Runners on the corners. It's Drew Jones at third base. And Cole Wilcox, a pinch runner at first. Byers deals outside again, 2-0.
Not the way you want to start this off. You want to just get some quick strikes and get the heck out of here. Oh.
Another pitch just outside for 3-0. Vamps 1 for 5 today, and coming in relief for Patrick Mastrian is Byers as Vamps squares to bunt, but that'll be in for a strike, so he turns away. 3-1 count.
Interesting bunt call on the 3-0 count there, but
I think it's probably just 2 outs, probably not going to bunt, just see if you can. Byers deals the 3-1, and that one is sky high on the right side of the infield. Buzzio settles under it, and that's the game. The Miami RedHawks take the second victory of the series and the series. 11-8, a much less stressful top of the ninth inning, although a little bit of a stressful start to the at-bat for Carson Byers, but nonetheless able to close it out. The high pop fly, Blake Buzzio settling under it to end the game. 11-8 is your final score. Eastern Michigan leads the hits battle 14-12, and Miami leads in errors 3-2. So another big MAC win for these RedHawks, and a big series win for these RedHawks. Once again, continuing on their hot streak, EMU just not able to find their stride.
They're so close. It feels like you look through so many of their games, it's 1 runs, 2 runs, 3 runs, 1 run. Like, they're so close, and Robbie Britt has a very good young core to work with, just not quite enough to do in the future.
Final game of the series will be tomorrow here in Oxford at 1 p.m. Hopefully you guys will join us for hopefully what ends well for the RedHawks. Lots of runs scored for both squads, but the RedHawks coming out on top with their offense. Lots of contributors today. Evan Applewick, probably the first star of the game. Him and Tyler Gordon probably battling for both. Fantastic outing for those two. Good pitching for the most part from Patrick Mastrian. Carson Byers gets the save with the last out, only threw 5 pitches, but it worked out. My name's Jeff Middleton for Sean Wiesemann. We thank you for joining this broadcast of Miami Baseball on Red Hawk Radio. Once again, join us tomorrow at 1 p.m. for the final game of this Mid-American Conference Series between the Eastern Michigan University Eagles and your Miami RedHawks. Thanks for joining once again from Oxford, Ohio. I'm Jeff Middleton alongside Sean Wiesemann. We will see you tomorrow.